Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around to talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, streaming, and all sorts of good things. And I believe the countdown is on. We are 1 week from the release of Moon Knight. And one guy who's very excited about that is sitting right over here, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today, sir? You holding it together?
It's hard. It's just hard, John. I wake up in a cold sweat. Like, is it on yet?
It's like a dude without his fix. Also, sitting over here, Chris Carr is here. Chris, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here with my bud.
And, of course, she's not talking about Ray, who is nobody's bud. I'm just kidding about that.
I love Ray.
Ray is here. He's just on the other side of that door. He is in the live chat with you guys right now, and he'll be with you in the live chat. But, of course, it is Wednesday, which means Aaron is here, as well as Joey Bishop. How you doing?
Oh, well, spring has sprung, so Joey Bishop says it is officially sundress season. And yes, we are very excited to see our buds again. My mom is actually hanging out with Ray.
Yes, that's right. Your mom's
right
in town.
now, and Ray is so lovely. He's out there making my mom a coffee and offering her various types of creamer. But I missed you guys so much. I was filming SWAT last week, which was a wonderful experience.
Did you get swatted?
Not on camera, but
Oh, dear.
No, it was a wonderful experience. It was a great set for all the actors out there. If you ever have an opportunity to audition for and be a part of SWAT, they are a very lovely, welcoming family. And I'll let you guys know when the episode is set to air in a couple weeks.
And guys, it of course is great to have you here today. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to break it up into two parts. First half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. And the second half of the show, going to take your live comments and questions. If you're watching live, and only if you're watching live and you're here joining us for the live stream, you can fire in a super chat using the YouTube chat over there, and we'll read those off when we get to the end of the main topics. However, if you're watching this show any of the other 22 hours during the day and you want me or Rob or both of us to answer a question you got, send it in using the tip link that's down in the description below, and we will answer it on Mailbag, our show we do 3 times a week. There's a new episode coming up today. If you want to get in a question for Mailbag, simply go down to the description of this video, click on the tip link, or enter it in manually at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. You'll be getting your comment or question read on Mailbag if we deem your comment or question appropriate for the show. And, of course, you'll be supporting the channel at the same time. And all of us involved here at the John Campea Show, thank you guys so much for your support. Okay, guys, lots of stuff to talk about here today, so let's dive right into it with an off the top, and that first one is this. A couple of days ago, some news came out about Netflix that got a lot of discussion going, some debate, if you will, some pretty hot opinions about it as well, where basically something that we knew was coming for a long time was actually arriving. Netflix has designed some ways to prevent people from doing free password sharing to Netflix accounts so they can share free Netflix to people. But they are offering a new service where if you want to share your password with somebody outside of the house, you can for an additional $3 a month. Now, $3 a month is what it's going to be in the 3 countries they're testing this in. Whether or not it ends up being $3 here, I got a feeling it probably will be $3 when it gets here. Now, this, of course, got some people very upset because damn it, you don't own your service. I am entitled to have Netflix for free, damn it. How dare you propose that I have to actually pay for Netflix service?
Bunch of
I should
Aruba
be able to
salts.
borrow my cousin's password for nothing, when that, of course, is not what Netflix's service is, nor is it their user agreement, which says you can have multiple people in the same house using Netflix. You can set up accounts for them. They can have their own profiles, all that kind of stuff. But they set up this thing kind of as a compromise. And a lot of people are very upset because we like our stuff for free. But they are introducing this. Well, now a report has just come out, and this comes to us via Variety, that says doing this, Netflix is going to make $1.6 billion per year. Now, really what this means is they're actually recouping $1.6 billion a year that people have been stealing from them every year. But if you want to know why they're making a move like this, well, here are $1.6 billion with a B reasons why they're going to do this. Now, this comes to us from the folks at Variety who rate the following. Netflix wants users who share passwords with people outside of their household in violation of its terms of use to pay an additional fee to keep streaming. The plan, if successfully rolled out, globally could add a cool $1.6 billion to Netflix's top line, according to a new Wall Street analysis. Now, here's one of the interesting things. The Wall Street analysis proposes that they did a study on this, that not everybody who's stealing passwords or using other people's passwords for free are going to sign up for this, but a good portion of them will. But the study also suggests that there's going to be a certain percentage of them that actually just go, well, whatever, I might as well just get my own account. And then go ahead and get their own account, which is ultimately really what Netflix wants them to do. So we're talking about 1.6 billion. I am curious because I don't think, Aaron, you were here for the first time we talked about this.
I was not.
So I'd be curious to know, number one, your thoughts on Netflix making this move. And now that we're kind of getting an indication that they're going to make, like, over the course of the next 3 years, they're going to make close to $6 billion in this, getting people to actually pay for the service. I don't know. What do you think about this overall?
Well, I mean, yes. Of course, when we're used to getting something for free and we're used to being able to share it with everyone that we know, then there becomes a certain sense of entitlement of, well, this is the way it's always been done, so why should we have to change it? That's part of human nature. We can see that in every facet of our culture. However, at the end of the day, Netflix is a business, and I would love to be able to say, well, wait a minute. Why do I have to pay my gas bill? Why can't I just, hook my gas line up to my neighbor and, let them pay all of it? Well, because I'm using gas to, use my dryer and to heat my food and do different things. So I should have to pay for that. Similarly, Netflix is also a business, just like LADWP. So they should be able to charge people for using their service. I don't really understand the mentality of, I don't think I should have to pay for this, even though I'm receiving it. So I'm really curious what the responses have been. But then also similarly, I don't know how they're doing it though. So how does it work? So, because I know that Tom and I, being in one household, we have multiple TVs.
Right.
And so sometimes we watch it in different TVs, but then we also each have a laptop and we also each have an iPhone, and Tom also has an iPad that he watches things on. So do you know, I'm assuming you know how they're going to do it.
It's similar to how banking kind of does it right now. So for example, if I'm over at Rob's place and I borrow his laptop to log onto my bank account, I can put in my credentials, but the bank account's going to go, whoa, 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 whoa. My bank website will say to me, okay, your credentials are correct, but we do not recognize this IP because this is not normally the IP that you, user John Campea, normally log in here from. We're going to send you a text message, confirm it's you. We're going to do this other sort of three. Now, they haven't announced exactly what their steps are, but I got to assume it's going to be one of those things. So, like, if like Chris lives with you and you guys are be roomies, and you share, she lives in the house with you, and you share your password with her because she lives in the house with you.
Get out of here, Tom.
She uses her laptop to log in and all that kind of stuff. But if she suddenly goes somewhere else and tries to use my laptop to log in, it's going to say, okay, yeah, this is Chris Carr's credentials, but this isn't a device you normally use. This isn't this isn't an IP address you usually come from.
Yeah.
And it looks like the other streaming services are going to pick up on this too. Anyway, Chris, I want to check with you on this. Now, we talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
But you've had a few days to sit on it now. Now that we're hearing like 1.6 billion a year, I don't know, what are your thoughts on it now?
I mean, I'm going to send my brother a Venmo request for $36 and be like, come on, you mooch, give me my money. I think this is great, though, because a lot of people, too, I am somebody who uses some other passwords, too, for my friends. And it's kind of been a trade system so far, right? Of, hey, I really don't feel like paying that extra bit for Stars or for Showtime. I'm going to let you in on my Hulu account, or I'm going to let you use my Disney Plus or something like that. And we've kind of evened out that way. I don't mind sending somebody $3 a month to help me out like that, rather than spending an additional, $17 per month? Is that what we're at right now? Something like that. I don't mind a $36 fee for a year. I think that's very, very reasonable. And for Netflix to recoup this amount of money, I mean, it's a no-brainer for them. And I do think a lot of people will just sign up for it themselves, like you were saying too, John, because maybe they don't want to Venmo their sisters. Maybe they want to feel like big, strong men with their own accounts.
Yeah,
I give my dad has his own account. It's called Buckman because he's a deer hunter. And so he has his, so there's Tom, and then there's Aaron, which is a cat, of course, and then my dad's is a picture of a deer, and his nickname is Buckman. And I go on there and I put all the things that I think that he'll like Tiger King and 60 Days In, and like all these crazy shows, all these weird documentaries. And so it's kind of like a little Easter egg hunt for my dad. Every time he goes on our Netflix account into his own section of it, he has like these new little things that he finds. So I'm going to go ahead and cough up the extra $3 a month for my parents, for my dad, so we can watch all of his weirdo documentaries.
See, here's the thing. I never want to see what's on my parents' playlist. I'm not going to call her out, but my wife has a friend who I believe watches a show, and she was like, "Yeah, so I went on, like, we share our password for X streaming service, and we went on to see the history list, and like mom and dad were watching like some softcore Red Shoe Diaries, After Dark kind of stuff. I'm like, this is stuff I didn't want to know. So I don't want to know this stuff either. And Rob, that's one of the other things to kind of encourage people to do this. When they detect people are going to do this, the people they're going to bill are the account owners. Yeah. So like if I'm loaning out my password to somebody, I'm the one who's going to get charged with. But Rob, you hear about this $1.6 billion. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, if you're going to borrow the laptop to check your bank account, can I please clear my browser history? I just want to get. So I have to tell you, I've been thinking a lot about this, and our own Netflix account at home, ours, has 2 other family members that don't live in the house that use it. And it's fun because Netflix, you have the logos. People can have their own avatars and pictures and names, and everyone's always changing them around, like you were or whatever. People's names get changed. I kind of like that because I like the fact that in a way it keeps you connected to your family. It's kind of but on the other hand, as a proponent, John, you've made films. We've all made projects. The idea that over the last 25 years, whether it's any kind of media that costs money to get produced, movies, music, TV, now that it's all in online form and it's available as files or it's streaming, we think it should be free. Like there's a mentality that it doesn't have to be paid for. And it's killed piracy, and this kind of thinking has killed a lot of independent films from getting made. And I think that the biggest benefit of this is that I think it will make people realize that there is value to this content, that it deserves to be paid for. And I think that I'm all for it. I think it's a really good thing. The fact that Netflix, look, if they're making $1.6 billion, that means they're going to put that money back, because as we know, the streamers are spending 100 to 150% of their streaming income on more programming, at least for a while. So that's a good thing. But on the other hand, I like the idea that it's creating value in the minds of our civilization about this stuff is deserving of being paid for. And I think that is a great benefit. Look, I know you said, well, Rob, are you coming out in favor of corporation? Yeah, I am. I am coming out in favor of Netflix because this content, we deserve to get paid.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, we've already the debate about what should Netflix charge us for, and what has been there already, but now that you hear they're probably losing out on $1.6 billion a year. How does that change or color your opinion of this? Does it at all? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys, with that down, let's do one more off the top here today, and that is this. Two of my favorite things in the world, Batman and Supernatural. And it looks like they might be coming together a little bit in one sloppy orgy of a marriage, because what we have just heard is that Misha Collins, who played the angel, in Supernatural, is going to be coming in to play Harvey Dent Two-Face in the new CW show Gotham Knights, which I'm going to admit right now, I didn't even know was coming. When I hear Gotham Knights, I think of the video game.
Same.
That's on its way. But apparently, the Angel Castiel is going to come in and play Two-Face. So basically, he got on, if you watch Supernatural, Castiel always has the trench coat. And so when he was cast in this, he got online and said, hey, when I got cast for this, I asked people, is he going to be wearing a trench coat over something? Because if not, I'm going to feel completely out of place, which is pretty cool. But if you're like me, Well, this is what he said specifically. He said, I've asked if my version of the character would be wearing a beige trench coat over a gray suit, Collins tweeted Friday, along with a picture of Harvey Dent Two-Face figurine. I'm just not sure I'll be comfortable in front of a camera without one, because that's always been what he always wore in Supernatural. But here's the basic idea of this show, which I knew nothing about. And again, this comes to us from Variety. Write the following. Written by Chad Fivish and James Stotterow and Natalie Abrams, the CW drama pilot, which is notably not a spin-off of the CW's Batwoman, or is it based on the upcoming release from the Warner Brothers game? So this has nothing to do with the game Gotham Knights, even though they're both Batman-centered sort of things. Takes place in the wake of Bruce Wayne's murder, as his rebellious adopted son forges an unlikely alliance with the children of Batman's enemies when they are all framed for killing the Caped Crusader. And, as the city's most wanted criminals, this renegade band of misfits must fight to clear their names. But in a Gotham with no Dark Knight to protect it, the city descends into the most dangerous it's ever been. However, hope comes from the most unexpected of places, as this team of mismatched fugitives will become its next generation of saviors, known as the Gotham Knights, which I believe is also kind of the underlying meaning and story of the game that's coming out as well, even though this is not meant to be a video version of the game. Now, from what I'm understanding, they've only ordered a pilot so far. And whether Misha's Two-Face is going to be like the main villain of this or just a side character or whatever, it's fine. All right, so there's two things to talk about. First thing to talk about is, what do I think about Misha Collins coming into this? Oh, I love it. I think Misha Collins is great. Now, obviously, I'm a little... my glasses are tinted a little bit rose in this just because I love Supernatural so much, and I love the character Castiel. Quite frankly, I don't know if Misha Collins is a good actor outside of that. I mean, I just don't know. I love him in Supernatural, but I haven't seen him.
He was on Nip Tuck.
Was he on Nip Tuck?
He was on Nip Tuck.
You know
he
who
was
else
the yoga
on-
guy who
Weren't
could
you on
suck
Nip
his
Tuck?
own penis.
I was on Nip Tuck, but unfortunately, I was not a woman who could go down on myself.
Wow.
That's really great for his character. No, I was on Nip Tuck as an IRS auditor.
Oh, okay. I was just going to see if you happened to play with.
No,
Misha
but
in that.
I one of my favorite lines that I've ever said was on Nip Tuck, where I bend over the desk after a post-coitus with Julie McMahon's character, and I say to him, when he refuses to pay his IRS bill, I will bend you over your desk and turn you into my sloppy bottom until I get every last cent.
Julie
nickel-
McMahon on that show was my hero.
If I had a nickel for every time I've been told that, I mean,
Gotta pay your bills. Gotta
By
pay
the
your
way,
Netflix bill.
that delivery. Can you say that one more time?
No, let's not. Anyway, but
Off
I have
camera,
not
Rob.
seen. I have not seen him on anything else. I don't remember him from Nip Tuck, so I've never seen him on anything else. So I don't know about that. The second thing about this is, what do we think about the show? I don't know. Another Batman show without Batman. Tried. It's been tried, and they tried it with Gotham, right? And it was even though the show was working pretty good as what it was meant to be, they decided, none of people are watching. We got to get Batman into it. So let's start showing this young Bruce Wayne kid turning into Batman. And all of a sudden they started bringing in every Batman villain and everything. So I got to admit, I have my reservations about the show concept in general, but I love Misha Collins as being attached to it. I don't know, Rob, you hear about this. Do you have any interest in this show? What do you think about Castiel joining the crew? What do you think?
You know, I whenever you do anything that has the word Gotham in it, the first thing you think about is Batman. And if you're going to make a show about Gotham that Batman isn't in, the next thing you think about is, I wonder why they're making a show about Gotham that Batman isn't in. And if they are going to make this show, how long before they reference Batman and talk about Bruce Wayne or talk around Bruce Wayne, or now that Bruce Wayne's dead, he's probably really not dead, I'll bet. But if he is, I just don't quite understand. It would be like making a Battlestar Galactica IP without the Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, it was called Caprica.
Well, they did. Well, there you go. And how did that work out?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the whole thing. You can't. They always want to do these kinds of spinoffs, and unless a character like, look, they did Frasier, which was a Cheers spinoff. Well, that worked. Mm-hmm. You know, that because Fraser Crane was an intrinsic part of Cheers. So you could follow, like, okay, I get it. But Gotham and Batman, everybody else is secondary. So when you make a show of characters that are secondary, Batman looms so large. However, that said, it could work. I mean, it's kind of interesting.
Look, I don't mind the idea of a spin-off. Like, you want to do a Nightwing show. Yeah, okay, then it's Nightwing. It's Nightwing show. You want to do a Catwoman show. Okay, make a Catwoman show. Gotham. Well, everybody's thinking Batman at that point. And to me, at that point, it doesn't even feel like a spinoff. Gotham itself, the Fox show, didn't feel like a spinoff. It felt like it was trying to be a Batman world show without Batman. And that's when you start getting into trouble, I think. Chris, you hear about this. Number one, what do you think about the notion of the show in and of itself? And then number two, what do you think about the addition of Misha Collins?
Oh, man. CW, I wish I could quit you. I really do. Because they keep pulling me back in. I mean, I'm kind of with you guys. This doesn't sound super great given some of the other CW properties that I have continued to watch. There's potential here, though. If we've got Jason Todd rallying up these folks, we get some.
I don't think it'll be Jason Todd.
You don't think it would be?
Well, since they say
adopted son.
Did they say adopted son?
They said adopted son. That's why I don't think it's Damien.
Oh, if it said adopted son, let me double check that again.
Because if it's Jason, then I'm more
excited. I thought
excited.
maybe it said is rebellious. You're right, adopted son. So it's not Damien.
No.
See, I missed that word adopted because I was thinking maybe it'd be Damien. So, yeah, it's either. Well, I mean, let's face it. It's either going to be Dick or. Could be Jason.
Tim.
Could be Tim, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Tim had
But
some
by the way,
issues.
they're also saying Carrie Kelly is going to be in this show as well.
Okay.
Who, of course, was the Robin character in The Dark Knight Returns, the comic series, which, I mean, so this breaks that canon. But, I mean, so there's interest there, but I don't think Carrie's going to be the adopted son. So it's going to either be, I'm betting you're right. It's either Jason or Tim, but probably Jason.
Being with like the underworld of Gotham makes more sense to me, right?
Right.
So there's some potential here for some cool storylines. The bit about Misha Collins, though, does get me very excited. I love Misha Collins. I think he's such a great actor. He's such a delight. I just want them to give me little supernatural Easter eggs, though. I want him to say things like, I'll interrogate the cat, or that he found a liquor store and drank it. I just want those little juicy nuggets in there. And I'm just so happy to have him back on television, because what a wonderful, wonderful actor, and what a wonderful person. He's just so great with his fans.
He is. He's wonderful on Supernatural. Aaron, would you have? I'm going to go on a limb here and guess Tom is going to have an interest in this show to a degree. But would you have any interest in this show? And what do you think about Misha Collins?
Would you say that Tom is going to have an interest in this show because of what I told you before we?
No, actually, I just realized that. I meant
no. That's
just because
okay.
it's
I'll go
DC.
ahead and say it.
Okay, you can tell. I meant because he likes the comic book stuff. But
so when
yes.
you said before the show, I asked John were there any off the tops, and he told me about this, and I said, "Oh my gosh, Tom auditioned for that role." So I actually know a little bit about the character. I obviously won't be saying anything. Tom auditioned for the role, and you know what? As an actor, you're not going to book 99% of the jobs that you audition for, but when you see that the role goes to someone really awesome who does it beautifully well, such as when I auditioned for Cersei Lannister and I go, yeah, you guys cast the right person. I will happily give that role over to her because she killed it. You know, I think that this is one of those cases where, you know, Misha Collins not only is a seasoned actor who has been working for many, many years on many series, but also is really talented. And let's face it, when you showed that graphic, he looks like Harvey Dent. He looks like the comic book version. And so I go, okay, already I'm buying it. So that's number one. But also number two, you know, I keep hearing a little bit of chatter about Gotham not working, Gotham not really. The show lasted for 5 seasons, and 4 of those seasons were 22 episodes. On network television, that is, by all definitions, a massive hit. Do you know how many network television shows I've done that have not lasted more than 1 season? I've done 4 of them. A friend of mine, who I won't name, has done 18 pilots that never even went to air. So it's like, for a show to get made into a pilot, for that pilot to get picked up to series, for it then to get the back 9 for the first season, for it then to get 4 22-episode seasons and a 5th finale season of 12 episodes, that is, by all Hollywood standards, a hit. And I do think when we're talking about characters of the Gotham world, let's not forget, the main character outside of Batman is Gotham itself. Nobody else matters
That's
as
true.
much in the world
buy
of
that.
Gotham
Yep.
as much as the city of Gotham itself. And it's the perfect scenario for like making a city really gritty and dirty. You can tell any story, but you're not having to talk about it like it's New York without the New Yorkers getting all sorry. You know, you don't have to worry about upsetting anyone by saying, oh, New York is such a piece of shit. And you're like, Gotham has turned into this hell pit. And nobody's going to get offended because let's face it, nobody's from Gotham. So relax, people. So I like the idea of being able to explore Gotham in different ways without necessarily having Batman a part of it, because Gotham itself is the city we keep going back to. And I do think, just like what Chris said, there's a lot of people that just love CW. I loved working for CW. Everybody that I know that has worked with CW has had a really good experience. And there's a reason why Misha Collins worked for the CW for so long with Supernatural and is going back. And so I say, you know what? Let's give it a chance. I'm going to watch this show. I'm interested.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I guess there's really two things for you to give your opinion on. Number one, what do you think about the idea of the show in general? And what do you think about Misha Collins, Castiel from Supernatural, joining it? I'm actually very big on that. Whatever you guys think, jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take just a minute and thank the sponsor of this video, Masterclass. Masterclass is offering classes on a wide variety of topics, like all taught by world-class masters at the absolute tops of their field. Each class is broken down out into individual video lessons, usually like around 10 minutes or so long, and members can explore at their own pace. And each class is supported by downloadable materials, lessons, recipes, or more that you can all find at masterclass.com. For example, are you into streaming? Well, you can take the Building Your Streaming class taught by ninjas so you can sharpen up on your streaming skills. Or if you're interested in independent filmmaking, take independent filmmaking from Academy Award winner Spike Lee. You want to get classes on how to direct? How about from Ron Howard? The very first one I personally looked up and got into was Business Leadership by the great Big Papa Iger, Bob Iger himself. And I was absolutely enthralled with it. I love every single minute of this stuff. If any of those apply to you, you need to try Masterclass. So I highly recommend that you check it out. Get unlimited access to every Masterclass. And as a John Campea Show viewer, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Campea. Once again, to get 15% off your annual membership, go to masterclass.com/Campea. And a big thank you to the folks at Masterclass for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get into our main topics here today, shall we? And how do we select our main topics on the John Campea Show? Well, it's really easy. See, you guys come up with our main topics. Whenever you come across a big story, issue, or topic that you guys feel we need to cover as a main story on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Chris, what is our first main topic today?
This first one comes from Mr. Mister. Hey, John and team. Hope everyone's feeling great today.
We are.
Tom Hiddleston's Marvel voice actor, Peter Lonsky, has revealed in a TikTok that he is currently working on a Marvel film, though he cannot reveal what it is. I think it's pretty clear that this means Tom Hiddleston will join an MCU movie soon. But the question is, which one? What are your guys' thoughts on this? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in. Now, of course, we've had some stories about things like this, a couple over the past number of months, where here's what happens. When a Marvel movie gets released in, say, Portugal, right? They have to get voice actors to come in and do the Portuguese voices for the characters. There was at DC Fandom, the first DC Fandom, not the Waste of Time second one, but the first one, which was great. They did this great special on it where they looked at the voices of Batman from around the world.
Yeah, it was great.
It was wonderful. It was honestly, it was one of the best things that DC Fandom did that year in a really great DC Fandom. And it was wonderful. Now, generally what happens is is that these voice actors will now, they'll do, like this one guy will do the voice of Spider-Man for every Portuguese Spider-Man film that comes out, or at least for a particular actor that plays him. And so what we have found out here is that the guy who does the voice for Loki in his country has just revealed, and I'm guessing he probably wasn't supposed to, that he is currently doing some Loki work. This comes from the folks over at The Direct who write the following. German voice actor Peter Lonzig, who dubs the German voice for Tom Hiddleston's Loki in the MCU, teased that Loki may be close to returning to the big screen in the near future. Lonzig shared a TikTok video that he's currently working on a new Marvel film that he can't say anything about. There is a new Marvel film that I am currently working on that I am not allowed to talk about. Lonzig has been Hiddleston's German voice actor since Loki's MCU debut in 2011's Thor, all the way through to last year's Loki solo series. All right. You don't have to be frickin' Sherlock Holmes to put a couple of things together here. There are 2 Marvel movies that are fairly imminent. We have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and we've got Thor: Love and Thunder. That's it. I mean, and this would be the point, because with the movies finished, they can now send them to these things. The different countries can now get their voice actors in to do the stuff. This would be the time that they would be doing it for either of these 2 films. So did this guy just reveal that Loki is either going to be in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness or in Thor: Love and Thunder? Maybe. I don't think this is as solid as everybody thinks. Because while he is a voice actor who does fill in for Tom Hiddleston's Loki, there's nothing saying that's the only voice acting this guy does. Like, I know, Chris, you've probably worked on shows doing the voice of one character and another character in the same show, and maybe even a third. What's the most you've ever done in one show? Most voices you've ever done for one show?
So typically under SAG guidelines, you do 3 voices. Otherwise, after your third, they have to pay you additional money for more voices.
Ooh.
So when I was doing non-union anime, I'd be like 17 characters and a bunch of dogs and cats. I played a lot of cats. It's weird. But when you're doing something like a Marvel project, something that is union, 3 characters pretty much is where you typically top out just for financial reasons.
So theoretically speaking,
he could be anyone.
He could be doing multiple voices, and it doesn't automatically mean that he's doing the voice of Loki. Having said that, it's probably Loki. I mean, it's probably Loki. We don't know that for sure. So then that raises the question, all right, if he's going to be Loki, if Loki is popping up in either Doctor Strange or Thor: Love and Thunder, which one does he pop up in? The traditional logic would probably say Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, because there was a lot of multi-dimensional, alternate reality, splinters of reality, multiverse stuff that was in the Loki series. Then there is the brother aspect. He came in Thor. He is forever attached to Thor. It would make more sense that he's coming in Thor. I'm going to say I think it's going to be Thor. I actually don't think it's going to be Multiverse of Madness. I think the kind of multiverse stuff they're talking about in Doctor Strange is not the same kind of multiverse stuff they talk about in Loki. And when you look at the season finale of Loki, where Loki ends up, there is not a natural segue for him to be in Doctor Strange. And right now it just feels like there's already so much in Doctor Strange. It just feels like it might be overkill at this point to also try to shoehorn in a Loki. However, having him pop up in a Thor film seems a lot more rational to me. Listen, I'm not saying it ain't possible that he's going to be in Doctor Strange. I mean, yeah, it very well could be Doctor Strange, but we'll see. Chris, you hear about this. Number one, do you believe we're about to see Loki in either Doctor Strange or Thor, or maybe both? And if so, which one or both do you think he's going to pop up in?
If he's here, I feel like it's going to be a post-credit Thor.
Oh,
I don't think he's even going to be in the main entree. I think it's going to be because of how Loki ended. Right? Because it doesn't make sense from where he is in the series to just pop up in Love and Thunder and be like, hello, brother, let's do all this stuff now. I've got to catch you up on all these things and all these multiple timelines. I think he'll just kind of have that little pop-up moment like we've seen in so many other Marvel films before. Man, I really hope this guy doesn't get fired. That's my big takeaway from this. So many of the what if voice actors, they couldn't even say they were part of the project till their episodes aired. So that just makes me a little nervous for him.
When's the last time you saw the first Harry Potter movie?
last Christmas.
Okay, because I just watched it again recently because Anne's been watching them again. And there's several scenes with, what's the name of the giant again?
Hagrid?
Hadrick. Or what's the name?
The half giant?
Yeah.
Hagrid?
Hagrid, thank you. So there's several scenes in the original movie where Hagrid's like, only me and Professor Dumbledore know about the thing that's down in the basement. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, should I? I mean, it's kind of like, what's this guy? Oh, he goes, Marvel tells him, okay, don't tell anybody about this project. No problem. What are you doing? Well, I'm working on a Marvel project, but I can't tell you what it is. That's like saying, oh yeah, my best friend, your husband, is cheating on you with another woman, but I can't tell you which woman. It's not like, no, you shouldn't have done that. I think he might be in trouble for this.
There's usually so many NDAs for this because, I mean, just doing Netflix dubs, you sign an NDA before your audition. Like,
Oh,
I'm not going
really?
to tell anyone about this, which is super fun when your parents are like, how's work going? And you're like, yeah, I don't know. It's
Then
good.
you're Andrew Garfield denying that you're in
just-
Spider-Man No Way
I've-
Home.
I've done
Parent
nothing.
clause.
There should
There
be.
should be a parent clause.
Mom,
other
don't
than
post this on
mom.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Mom's allowed to know. Rob, what about you? You hear about this? Number one, do you actually think we're going to see Loki in one of these two projects? And if so, which one makes more sense to you?
Well, considering Tom Hiddleston has been in the previous 3 Thor movies, I would assume, and the movie is called Love and Thunder, and there's familial love, there's romantic love, and come on, I think with Tom Hiddleston we have both, don't we? I think absolutely he's going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder. Why wouldn't he be? I mean, I don't know how they're going to work it in, and plus, Thor thinks that Loki's dead.
Again.
Well, again,
I think for the 4th time.
But I mean,
yes.
Thor watched Thanos crush the life out of his own brother right in front of him. So I think that it would be fairly emotional for Thor to see Loki. I mean, even though he's from the past, it still is his brother. It's not a variant of Loki. It's just from a different time. So I think that definitely it's going to be Love and Thunder, and it would make sense because Multiverse of Madness, for the most part, I would imagine, is pretty finished. I can't imagine them dubbing it. I mean, maybe they are, but I mean, remember, John, we're less than 6 weeks out, and part of the process of making movies is to dub them into all the different countries that require dubbing, and so they need the time, and they don't work on these things when they don't have to up until the last minute. So I think it's a pretty good bet. It's Thor: Love and Thunder.
Aaron, what do you think? Number one, do you think we're going to see him in one of these things? And if so, which one or both? What do you think?
I think we're going to see him in both.
You think
guys
both?
I think you guys have already made great arguments for why we're going to see him in Thor: Love and Thunder, and the argument for why we're going to see him in Doctor Strange is because in the July 14th, 2021 article on in the Hollywood Reporter, it says, without getting into spoilers, the Loki finale set the stage for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Hiddleston's Loki character is also expected to appear in the next Doctor Strange. Marvel has yet to confirm whether or not that's happening. But according to the Hollywood Reporter from, back in July, apparently that's there. And then,
those reports have been around.
yeah, so I mean, there's been rumblings, and I think, where there's thunder, there's going to be rain. So I feel like that. I feel like we're going to see him in both. And why not? Loki, especially after his smash hit of a series, has become even more beloved with fans. I mean, I was kind of meh on Loki before, and after seeing
Really?
I was just like, cool.
I like lanky dudes with long hair, though. So, I
See,
mean,
normally I do too.
Yeah.
And then I met Tom, and I was like, I like Thor. I used to be a Loki
For those
girl.
who
and
don't know, Aaron's husband, Tom, is much closer to the Thor side of the scale
that's very
than
much
Loki's
the
side of
dynamic
scale.
Logan and Tom
And-
have.
Yeah.
and Logan and Tom could
Loki
actually
and
go
Thor.
and do
That's
cosplay.
great.
Now I want
I
to
like-
see that show. I want to see the Logan and
I
Tom
totally wanna
show.
see
The Logan
totally,
and Tom
yeah.
cosplaying Loki and Thor show. Yeah, so that's the thing is I was like, whatever, cool. He serves his purpose, but I never saw him. I saw him as just a byproduct of Thor. I never saw him as a standalone character telling his own story. And they did such a beautiful job with that in the streaming series that now I feel like as a fan of Loki, I want to see him pop up in more places. And even if it is, and the wonderful way that Marvel has, we see, what is green guy?
Loki?
No, Hulk. What is Hulk? Bruce, Dr. Banner. Yeah, when we see, I'm getting there. When we see Bruce Banner popping up every once in a while for these quick 5-minute blurbs, we are now accustomed to seeing a character pop in and then pop out. One day of shooting and then they go back to their lives. And so even if we just see him for a glimpse, we've now been conditioned to be okay with that. We don't need Loki to have his own storyline to still be like, oh, cool, we got to see him. We've now been conditioned to be okay with him just doing a scene here or there. So I wouldn't be surprised if he pops into both.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Did this voice actor just let slip that, yes, indeed, Loki's popping up? And if so, which one of the two movies, or do you think it's going to be both? We're going to see Loki. And whatever you guys think, jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This one comes from James A. Recently, the MPAA rated the new Marilyn Monroe biopic starring Ana de Armas, Blonde, an NC-17 rating. And generally, this rating is considered the kiss of death to films, and when they release in theaters, little to no money is made. But considering Netflix are the ones distributing this film, one can only question whether or not they will push for a change to an R rating or leave the film at NC-17 and just release it onto their streaming service. Thoughts?
All right, thanks a lot for sending this in. And yeah, so Ana de Armas, who's one of the hottest careers right now in Hollywood. She's just skyrocketed in popularity, even getting some studios sued for putting her in a trailer that doesn't actually end up being in a movie. But that's an issue for another time. We've known for some time that she's starring in this Marilyn Monroe biopic, which Jamie Lee Curtis saw. Because I know some people thought, like, we love Ana de Armas. Can she be Marilyn Monroe? Well, Jamie Lee Curtis saw it, and she said, oh my effing God, she is so Marilyn Monroe, which is kind of cool to hear. Now, of course, a lot of people raised their eyebrows when they heard that it got an NC-17 rating. Now, that was a rumor for quite a while. However, it was confirmed by the director. This comes us from the folks at IndieWire, right? The following. It's an NC-17 movie about Marilyn Monroe. It's kind of what you want, right? I want to go see the NC-17 version of a Marilyn Monroe story, Andrew Dominic said. He's the director. Additionally, Dominic noted that streaming giant Netflix insisted on hiring Tenet editor Jennifer Lame to curb the excess of the movie, which has delayed its release. Regardless, Dominic noted that he has nothing but gratitude for Netflix overall. All right, there's a couple of really interesting things that come out in that comment. Number one, yes, he made it NC-17. But number two, it may not be NC-17 by the time we see it. Because when he says that the version they played on some of the festival circuit, Netflix has insisted to bring in an editor to cut out what they call the excess. Now, excess could mean a couple of different things. It might just mean this movie is too long for what it is. We need to pare it down a bit. Or it could mean the excess of the stuff that moves it from an R-rated thing into an NC-17 rated thing. Now, it should also be pointed out that an NC-17 does not automatically mean porn. It could get an NC-17 for other things as well. For example, it's talked about in this article on IndieWire that there are some very disturbing scenes in this movie, including scenes of Marilyn being played by Anna, being raped by a studio executive and stuff like that. Some really, really harsh stuff. So it may not just be the tantalizing idea of things that might be NC-17. Although, admittedly, when you read the director's comment, says it's an NC-17 movie of Marilyn Monroe. It's kind of what you want, right? I mean, so maybe he is hinting there is a bit of that tantalizing stuff in there as well. Maybe he's suggesting that. Or he might be being facetious and a little bit sarcastic in saying that. I only read the comment. I didn't hear the tone of his comment. So it might have been actually quite sarcastic the way he said it. I'm not so sure. So it may have gotten the NC-17 rating for, a lot of explicit stuff. They may have felt like certain scenes needed that actual authentic sensuality to make a scene work. And maybe that's it. Or maybe got NC-17 for some really disturbing things. Because he wants to remind us that the life of Norma Jean was not all,
it could be extreme
and glory.
Drug use too, like a Requiem for a Dream situation.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. So we don't know. But it sounds like whatever that version was that Jamie Lee Curtis saw, it's probably not the final product we're going to see because it sounds like Netflix wants to shave it down a bit. By the way, it should also be pointed out, there really is no rating for Netflix movies. The MPAA gives ratings for movies that are going to play in theaters. So ultimately, whatever cut Netflix comes up with, it's probably not going to have an an MPA rating on it anyway, regardless. But it's probably not going to be that extreme version that a Jamie Lee Curtis saw. That's my thought at any rate. Rob, you're hearing these comments coming out. I mean, for sure, if this was going to be a theatrical release film, you cannot have an NC-17. The thing's going to tank. Most theaters won't even play it, blah, blah, blah. That would be a death stroke. Doesn't really matter for Netflix. What about this story to you stood out the most the more you listen to it? What stands out to you?
Well, here's the thing. I think that the content of a film should best serve the story that's being told. And I think that you run the risk, we're celebrating, some people are, the 30th anniversary of Basic Instinct. I know that I am. And,
celebrate it.
But I think in the story...
That's a great question, Chris.
What do you do, Rob?
How does one celebrate a movie like Basic Instinct, Rob?
By getting the hot toys.
You watch it in 4K.
By getting the hot toy.
But no... Now I'm off my game. No, but I think that, look, like you said, John, Marilyn Monroe had a fascinating and also tragic life, and she was perhaps the ultimate fantasy actress that ever existed. She was all things to all people. Men, certainly, she represented something that was probably unattainable that she herself knew, which is why she had such a tragic life, really. So it's not an easy story to tell. And I think that, we become a little infantilized in our culture here. And I think that Andrew Dominik is a very talented director, and he probably really delved into these things and didn't flinch. Showed us, I would hope that it's not some lascivious thing, the way he talked. It could be, I hope it's not just that. So it's a cautionary tale, I would imagine. Is it necessary? I don't know. Why they feel the need to edit a film like this to take out something, I don't know that either. That's concerning to me. But
that's basically what every studio does, though.
It's true, but if again, they knew what movie he was making, and if it's NC-17, she had to sign up for whatever it was that they did. And if she threw herself into a role and it got an NC-17 rating, that's a fearless thing for an actress to do. So I would hope that that great work was not sacrificed for what, again, having never seen it, I don't know. But look, at the end of the day, if this is a great portrayal of what happened to Marilyn Monroe and her legend and celebrating her talent as well, because she was an incredibly gifted actress. A lot of people forget that. Mm-hmm. She wasn't just a blonde bombshell. She was a great performer. First time I saw her in a movie was in All About Eve, where she plays a bit role.
Good in that.
And it's one of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite screenplays. But look, I'm just looking forward to the movie. I can't wait.
Aaron, you're hearing this story. There's a lot packed in there. NC-17, Netflix going to edit it, the source material, stuff like that. Anyway, you hear about this. What stands out to you?
Okay. I'm going to try to keep it together because my mom and I were driving the car and she was reading the topics. And as soon as she read the director's quote,
yeah,
it makes me physically ill because, if you were watching Pam and Tommy, which I already said, I just couldn't watch. I tried to watch it, but it was so horrible to watch the retelling with a different lens. I think we know a lot more now about, what people have experienced in Hollywood and the version that's told to the public versus what's going on behind the scenes. And right, it cannot be overstated how tragic Marilyn Monroe's life was, and that despite the fact that she studied at the Actors Studio under Stanislavski and that she desperately wanted to be seen as a serious actress, and the things that she had to do, and one can make the argument of, well, she chose to do those things, right? But what about the studio heads that wouldn't allow her talent to show through unless she did those things? It's like there's no blame for that. And it's just so insanely, for him to say, this is what we want to see, it really does lend itself to the imagination of that it is lascivious. And,
yeah.
and that's the thing. If it weren't for that quote, and here's the thing, I really think that Andrew Dominik is an incredibly talented director. If you haven't seen Chopper, oh my God, it is one of the best movies ever. And it is insanely graphic. It is such a brilliantly directed film. And it's really hard to watch from a standpoint of violence.
Yeah.
And so if this were depicting the challenges that she went through with her drug use, with her trauma of being raped, and also I don't think that we need to. I don't want to see a woman being raped. I don't want to see that. Just like I don't want to see a child being beaten. I can understand that that is what happened, or that is what is happening, without you showing it to me. I just don't need to see that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are some people that are like, no, I really need to see that child being beaten to understand how traumatizing that would be for that child. I don't personally need to see that to understand that trauma. So, I don't know. This already is really upsetting to me. And I feel like Marilyn Monroe's life she was so victimized when she was alive. I just want to see her portrayed in I don't need to see an actress's tits, and I don't need to see her naked. I can go to, Pornhub if I want to see tits and ass. I just want to see the portrayal of a woman who was so tragically misunderstood and so tragically abused by a system that, while it pulled her up, it also crushed her in so many disgusting ways. I want to see that story, and I don't need to see her splayed open, in so many ways, metaphorically and physically, in order to understand that. So I really hope that he walks back that quote and explains what he meant, and hopefully it means something else, because the way that he said it, especially from the director, it doesn't sell me on it. Really doesn't make me want to see it.
Well, again, I didn't hear him say it, but when you read the rest of the article and you're hearing about how it's important to understand that the monsters that surrounded her and the childhood trauma she faced, blah, blah, I have a feeling, although I cannot say this definitively, the way I read it, it sounded like he was saying that sarcastically. I mean, but I might be wrong about that, but from everything I understand about the movie, that's what it sounds like. And I don't know, like sometimes, let me give you an example. What was that one Peter Jackson movie he did where the little girl got murdered?
Heavenly Creatures.
No. The little girl got murdered, and then the story's
the
about
Lovely Bones.
Lovely Bones, thank you.
Yeah.
Where Stanley Tucci murders the little girl, right? I remember when I saw that movie, one of my comments coming out of it was, I almost feel like, and hear me out completely before you jump to any conclusions about what it is I'm saying. I remember after I watched that movie, I felt like we never got to see Stanley Tucci being the monster. They just told us he's the monster, right? And I said later on, I almost feel like I would have been more emotionally invested in stop this asshole if they had let me experience, as the audience member, a bit of that terror, a bit of that horror, a bit of that, to see him being the monster bit. It might have gotten me emotionally, it might have changed the experience for me a little bit more, because for the rest of the Lovely Bones, for the rest of it, I just it felt a little bit muted to me in that sense. Again, how much that resonates with other people who watch the movie.
What about Hannibal Lecter?
I'm not sure what you mean.
We never see Hannibal Lecter actually attacking anyone. We never see him actually doing...
Well, we actually saw him cut open Ray Liotta's head and carve out pieces of his brain and eat it. I mean, so...
In the third movie.
Well, yeah, in the third movie, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm not making an argument here about what other people should think. I'm simply telling you what my experience watching the movie was I feel like if I had got to, as an audience member, experience a bit of him being that monster, I might have been able to emotionally invest myself a little bit more. But then again...
I think your point's well taken, though, because if you can't... The question is the depiction of horror and what people do to one another. How far do you go? Mm-hmm. And I think, like what you said, like there is not that moment which in a way could be even more chilling, that you don't see something like that happen.
But we're also talking about a real
it can be, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's the difference, though. We're talking about a real person who actually existed, who has a legacy that is, So,
but I mean, I think that depending on how it's depicted and what happened to somebody, I think sometimes it depends what the point of the movie is.
And that's saying we are talking about a movie we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah,
So
and,
you're right.
I you know, the accused, I have a real hard time watching sexual violence against women.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to watch Gaspar Noé's Irreversible. There's a 10-minute rape scene in that movie I cannot watch.
Is that the one with Monica Bellucci?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I cannot watch it. The rest of the movie it's a beautifully made film, but I can't watch that scene. And I just can't. And I can't. And The Accused is borderline for me. I have a hard time with that as well. But you couldn't make The Accused without having that scene in it. You know, you have to show the horror of what goes on to understand. And it depends how the depiction is handled. And I think the rest of the movie is going to play a part in that. And like you said, we can't see it, but what is the responsibility of a filmmaker to art? What is the responsibility of an actress to play a part? I think there's a lot that comes into play. And by all accounts, this movie is supposed to be quite good. I've read
That's
things
what we're
about
hearing.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but if it is good, and if it delves into a lot of different things, maybe these depictions are necessary, and maybe it works for the betterment of the movie itself.
And that's the fine line this film is going to have to walk, right?
Yeah.
When is something too exploitative about a person who was exploited their entire life?
Mm-hmm.
When do we cross that line as artists, as viewers who then are part of this voyeuristic look
'Cause
into
we're
what happened?
complicit after the fact.
Exactly. And everyone was part of her downfall when you really think about it. The studios, the people around her, everyone was involved. When John brought up the Lovely Bones thing and being more aware of some of the cruelty that happened, the first thing that came into my mind was the rape of Sansa Stark. And I'm very sorry for
right.
anyone listening to if this is a very triggering topic for you. I really hope you're okay.
Yeah.
And if you need to take a break, you got to take a break. But that scene, we didn't see any of that, right? But we knew what was happening. We heard Sansa scream like, no. We knew what was occurring.
Horrific.
And that shook me. In the same way, when you go into the theater of your own mind and you decide what's happening, it's often more horrendous. So that's something that I think is just the line we've got to walk here. And I'm very much with Aaron on this too. The quote, as it is, just feels very wrong. And I'm hoping that this is not the exploitative nature of this. And I'm really hoping chat too, like, yeah, NC-17 doesn't just mean tits and ass and dong are in here, you guys. It could mean some really graphic drug use. It could be some really disturbing images. It's a woman who ended up taking her own life, you know? So
Allegedly.
Right.
It's
And
true.
that could be part of it too. I mean, that kind of a depiction, it's hardcore, man. When
Yeah.
you
Yeah. And again, at the end of the day, it's not about policing art. It's about recognizing that this is a real person we're talking about.
yeah.
It's a real person. It's not a fictional character.
Yeah.
She's not. She's a real person.
All right, guys,
Jane.
question is for you. What do you make of this story when you're reading through it, the NC-17, the Netflix wants to edit some of it down, all that kind of stuff? What part of the story stands out to you? Where does the line get drawn between artistic expression versus the human experience? How much should a director try to impact the experience of the audience? Into which way should they do it or not do it? How do you guys feel about that? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move into main topic number 3. Chris, what is our third main topic today?
This one is from Geeks R Us. Greetings, everyone. It's been nearly 3 years since Stranger Things Season 3 came out, and even though I love the show, I've almost forgotten about it. I saw that they released some promo images from Season 4 today, and while they look good, really good, I'm just not feeling a lot of excitement for it right now from myself or other people. Was the 3-year wait too long? I mean, it has been 7 years since the show started.
Oh,
So are we all just over it? Or do you think it's as popular as ever?
all right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, Geeks R Us. And of course, I hear there might be an NC-17 cut they're working on for this.
How come this isn't topic number 4? The OCD in me is really.
You're right. Netflix,
I mean, you
Stranger
know.
Things Season 4 should have been topic number 4. So, okay, look, you're right. It is crazy to think about it because I didn't even really, I knew it's been a while, but until they wrote that in, it's in July. Will it be in July? Yeah, in July, it will have been 3 years since Stranger Things Season 3 debuted.
That's crazy.
3 years. And I got a little sense. We're going to look at some pictures here in a second, but I got a little bit sense of that because, man, these kids don't look the same anymore.
He's been stuck in an Alaskan gulag for how long?
That long.
Or a Siberian gulag, not an Alaskan
And
gulag.
that it has been
Budget cuts,
7
it's Alaska
years.
now.
7 years since this show started. Like, I still look back and I remember who plays the mom again from
Winona
Ryder.
I remember Winona Ryder like getting an SNL hosting gig because of the big pop hit, Stranger Things. It kind of came out of nowhere, caught everybody's imagination, all that kind of things. But 3 years. So there are two things to talk about here. Number one, they just released some brand. I got in my email this morning. Netflix had sent out a brand new batch of brand new images to give us a look, and we'll take a look at those in a second. But I want to address this other thing here first that they bring up. I hadn't really thought about it, but once Geeks R Us wrote that in, I thought, you know what? He's right. But going into Stranger Things season 3, I remember there being a lot of excitement in the pop culture world. Like everybody was buzzing about it. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was excited for the new season to start. Now, as in all Netflix shows, they dropped the entire season at once, so everybody raved about it for a week and then nobody talked about it again. But it's been 3 years, and I realized after reading that message from Geeks R Us is that, yeah, he's right. I don't sense the same kind of excitement or buzz or hype coming from people about Netflix season 4. I don't think that has anything to do with the quality of the show. I think that has more to do with the fact that it's been 3 years. Mm-hmm. And granted, there was a big global pandemic, which I'm sure we would have gotten this show earlier had it not been for that. But it has been 3 years. Well, 3 years or not, there are some new first images coming in. And boy, these kids just don't look the same anymore. I mean, you still, you recognize them. You know who they are, but it's like, oh my God, they do look different.
Brother.
So let's go through and take a look at some of these. First of all, you can't have a Stranger Things season without having a good Dungeons and Dragons game going on. I love seeing the classic Dungeon Master screen in there. That's very cool to see. Then we get more sets. It really has more of a horror feel. Man, Wolfhard looks, man, that kid's getting older. I mean, especially saw that in Ghostbusters. Again, all these images are actually really dark. And this kid, what's the kid's
Millie
Dustin.
Bobby Brown. Oh, Dustin.
Dustin. Dustin is definitely looking older. He is definitely starting to look older. There's an unknown character. By the way, Robert Englund is supposed to be in this season.
Unknown character. That's Hop.
What?
Is that David Harbour?
That looks like it.
I didn't think. You know
Look
what?
at him.
Now that you say it, you're right. That is
Yeah.
David Harbour.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was David
That is
Harbour for a
definitely
second.
Oh, that's definitely him.
I didn't think that was him. Then we got some more of those delicious hairstyles that
these
nobody can
outfits.
get enough of. Then some more characters. Again, all these characters returning from season 3.
Millie Bobby
a classic,
Brown with like the
Yeah.
locks.
a classic Dustin pose, and again more Billy Bobby Brown. And not many people know this. When you're a kid, you keep the same haircut for 7 years. I don't know if you knew that, because all these characters have to keep the exact same haircuts for the way they are. All
All
right,
the 80s, man. Come on.
Chris, let me go over to you first. Number one, what do you think about the images that we're seeing for season 4? But then let me ask you, where's your anticipation level like for season 4 as, say, compared to some of the previous seasons? And what is your sense coming from the general fan community about their excitement or lack thereof for it?
You know, when Logan and I went to buy our car, because we did buy a car, everyone. Goodness. There was a Stranger Things pop-up in Glendale, and both of us were like, why the hell is there a Stranger Things pop-up? What's this about? And then it was, oh yeah, the new season's coming out. We've totally forgotten about it. I loved this show. At my old desk at my old YouTube job, we had a whole bunch of Stranger Things Funkos and stuff too. The images look great, but 3 years. 3 years is a long time, especially in Netflix years. That is the dog years of media. Like, it's basically been 21 years since this show has had any footage. All the kids can drink now. I don't know. Like, I'm hoping it's great. I really, really am, because I loved the first 3 seasons, and I'm a big Steve stan. I want him to find love. And I don't know any friends of mine really who were really into it before, who were so psyched about this. It's kind of been oh yeah. Okay.
Rob,
You know-
where are you on this? And what's your sense about people's excitement for it or lack thereof, and how do you explain it?
Well, I really liked the first season of Stranger Things. I mean, it was such a throwback to 80s Stephen King, which I loved. Even the font, that's the Stephen King book font. I loved it. But I think the way they left the end of season 3, it kind of felt like an ending. Yeah, half the people left town, and there was no, other than David Harbour in that gulag.
Right. There was really an open thread.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I mean, I didn't feel like Yogg Sluggoth or whatever the giant Cthulhu-like demons that live in the Upside Down. I didn't feel like we're particularly threatened by them. It seemed like literally the door was shut. I mean, I know the Russians are going to open it again, but it didn't. There was no urgency. It didn't leave me with a sense of, oh my God, I have to know what happens now. So I think that's part of it. I mean, if you haven't grabbed the pop culture imagination and squeezed hard, there's so much content, so much good programming that's coming out now. I mean, dude, I'm all about the Gilded Age. Who would have thought? And so when they tell me that Stranger Things is coming back, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch that. It was fine, cool. But to me, Stranger Things was about my life 7 years ago, not my life now.
What do you think, Aaron? You see this? You're seeing the images. Number one, where's your anticipation level? Like, did you even ever get into Stranger Things? Did you and Tom even get into the show?
Excuse me, did you not get our holiday card for 2016?
Oh, yes, I remember that now.
So,
yes.
so every year, Tom and I choose a new streaming show to base our holiday card off. To base on our holiday card. Obviously, 2020 was Schitt's Creek, and our first one was 2016. It was based on Stranger Things, and we also went to the drive-in experience. Did you guys go to the drive-in experience?
Oh,
with
my
Stranger
friend
Things?
we
run
did.
that. It was amazing looking.
Yeah, I went. We did we went in like the friends and family preview.
And then Universal Studios in their Halloween Horror Night, they did a huge Stranger Things maze. That was actually quite well done.
Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, I definitely am a fan of the show. I watched all 3 seasons. The second that they come out, I will 100% watch this. Colette Wilson, I see you in the chat saying that your oldest sister was the set designer. So DM me. I want details. Sneak me some info. These kids are clearly, I mean, they're all probably drinking age now. But I'm still excited because I want to see how they explore new things. I was like, how are they going to do a season 2? And then they did it. And I was like, how are they going to do a season 3? And one of the beautiful things about, these exciting, fantastical, supernatural shows is that at the end of every season, we're supposed to go, well, how are they going to top that? Well, where are they going to go next? And then they figure it out. And fortunately, there are people getting paid a lot more money than me to go figure it out. I'm curious when they were actually filming it and when they wrapped, because there's a lot of, not to go into any other topics, but there's a lot of timeliness right now of this whole thing. So I'm really curious. I feel like there's going to be some art imitating life, imitating art kind of happening. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about the new images from Stranger Things Season 4? By the way, the part 1 of Season 4 will drop on May 27th, and then the part 2 of Season 4 will drop on July 1st. So again, Netflix experimenting with the staggered releases a little bit, kind of drag out, because they realize they drop the whole season of Stranger Things, nobody's talking about it a week later. You do this, people are going to be talking about Stranger Things now for a couple of months. Let's see how that works. And have you been sensing a lot of excitement for people? What has been your excitement? Whatever you guys are feeling, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. We want to thank the sponsor of today's video, MeUndies. What's something you look forward to waking up to every morning? Is it coffee, your pet? Maybe it's the face of someone you love. Well, MeUndies wants to add to that list. Start your mornings with your favorite underwear. And not just any underwear, but ridiculously soft undies with ridiculous prints that make picking out underwear actually fun. Because MeUndies makes the softest fabrics you've ever put on your body. So you can sit on your couch all day or go out and live your comfiest life. Once you try their undies, socks, bralettes, and longwear, you will never go back. Choose from a range of limited edition prints and colors and sizes that go from extra small all the way up to 4XL. You can also sign up for their free to join MeUndies membership, where you get a monthly subscription that sends new styles right to your door. Plus, enjoy discounted pricing, free shipping, and exclusive exclusive early access to new launches. And listen, MeUndies has a great offer for my listeners. For any first-time purchasers, you get 15% off and free shipping. MeUndies also gives you this promise. If you're not satisfied with any product for any reason, you can return your order for a full refund within 45 days. To get your 15% off your first order and free shipping, just go to MeUndies.com/Campea. That's MeUndies.com/Campea. And a special thank you to the folks at MeUndies. I'm wearing a pair right now for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show.
What do they have on them?
Oh, that's only for Ann to know. That's only for Ann to know. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 4 here, shall we? Chris, what is our 4th main topic today?
This one is from Trevor Donegan. Greetings, John. Mohamed Diab, the director of Moon Knight, has made a statement saying WandaVision will not return for a season 2, according to IMDb. As much as I enjoyed the show, I don't see how or why they would do a season 2, considering Wanda's heavy involvement in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Did you enjoy WandaVision, and what are your thoughts on Diab's statement about there not being a second season?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Trevor. All right, so let's talk about the first things first here. Did I enjoy WandaVision? My God, what a great show. That show was all sorts of spectacular. I honestly can't remember the last time. I'm not saying it's the greatest show I've seen in the last 3 years, but I honestly can't remember another time where an episode would end and I would be like hanging on what is going to happen in next week's episode. Like Yellowstone is probably my favorite thing on TV right now. Succession is right up there, but with WandaVision, there was something about that show, the way they so masterfully, slowly unwrap the mystery, new elements coming in, little Easter eggs, great things for Marvel fans, great things for mystery fans, whatever. That show was fantastic. And it started off as a small thing ratings-wise, and by the time it got to like week 5 or 6, it was the #1 show in the world because word of mouth kept going. I mean, I still remember here on the John Campea Show, like, that's all we talked about for months was WandaVision.
Oh, yeah.
Not just because I was bringing it up, because that's what everybody in the live chat want to talk about, too. It's WandaVision theories and WandaVision theories and WandaVision theories. I mean, where the hell is Mephisto, everybody? But everything is about WandaVision. Absolutely fantastic. Now, they called it a limited series, which basically means miniseries. It means it's a one-shot. It means it's not going to get a season 2. That said, what was the Nicole Kidman series again?
Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies. Big Little Lies was marketed as a limited series as well.
So was True Detective.
And so was True Detective. But what happens? You know, a big pile of money comes rolling in and there's huge success and it's globally popular and made them rethink it. And they went back and they did another season of Big Little Lies and they did more True Detective and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of people have wondered maybe they do the same thing with WandaVision, although it didn't seem like that would make a lot of sense. But apparently now, no, it's official. They are not doing a WandaVision season 2. And this comes to us from an MCU director who said the following. This comes to us from CBR, who wrote, speaking to Special Effects Magazine, Diab talked about his hopes that the upcoming MCU series Moon Knight, he's the director of Moon Knight, would have a greater longevity than some other MCU series. In the process, he confirmed that WandaVision, the first MCU series developed for Disney's streaming service, would not be returning for another season. It's like a crazy world, Diab said. Even with the successful shows like WandaVision, they're not doing a season 2. She jumped into a film, so maybe she's going to come back or not. I don't know. And that's exciting. And that, of course, again, comes to us from the folks at CBR. All right, so they're basically saying what we've all kind of already known, but a lot of people hoping maybe would be not true, which is that there will not be a WandaVision season 7 or season 2 and not season 7 either. So the question that some people may then raise is, why not? Like, with how successful that first season was, why not? And I actually think the answer is pretty obvious. It's where Wanda's story has gone. With what we had in WandaVision and the way WandaVision ended, and where it looks like her character is heading in Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness, how do you just go back and do a fun, whatever, WandaVision season 2 with Wanda and the kids back again? There's really no going back. Marvel's approach on their Disney Plus shows has been simply the next chapters in their overall stories. And remember, Marvel treats their movies and shows a little bit differently. they treat them as individual chapters in the overall story of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that was their chapter. And it kind of makes sense to me that they won't be coming back. Would I like to see a WandaVision season 2? Obviously, I would. But do I think it's a bad decision not to do another season of it? No. Especially with where I've speculated we're going to see Wanda go in Doctor Strange 2 for years now. I think Wanda's Breaking Bad, But we will see. Rob, we've talked about WandaVision a lot over the years, and it's an absolute brilliant show. I know you love it as well.
I do.
What do you think about this apparent confirmation from the Moon Knight director that, you can put this to bed, there's not going to be a WandaVision season 2?
Well, if you think about the other shows, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye, and even What If, those shows are specifically about these characters. But even the title of WandaVision is about a situation.
Yeah.
And it's about a very specific situation that happened. I mean, WandaVision, it's a play on words, but it also was the situation of, it literally was her vision to create this world for herself. Well, that situation is over. And as we know now, Wanda is, I believe, Breaking Bad. She does get a movie. This scenario no longer exists. And if they were going to do a sequel, it wouldn't be called WandaVision. It'd probably be called Scarlet Witch. Or they might be making a Scarlet Witch movie. And I think the fact that it is WandaVision is very specific to this situation. And this situation, by the way, has led to probably directly to Multiverse of Madness. So obviously she's a big play. It doesn't bother me that we don't get another WandaVision series. I'm sure I've heard that she's signed a big deal anyway, like a big multi-film deal. I mean, she's going to become a major player in the MCU going forward. And obviously, if she's really the antagonist of this new movie, how cool is that?
By the way, a lot of people have been wondering about who's the next Thanos. And people thought maybe it'll be Galactus. Maybe it's the Celestial. Some people it's going to be Kang. What if the next big bad Thanos is actually Wanda? Because I think we're going to find out some shit in Doctor Strange 2. What if she is like the next Avengers level threat? I just think that's interesting. By the way, something that we haven't talked about here is there is another show coming. Dun, 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 dun. Agatha. There's an Agatha Harkness show coming, right? Mm-hmm. I noticed that some people in the live chat were saying, well, maybe that's just a smokescreen for WandaVision 2. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think just everybody loved this Agatha character.
I would be furious if I don't get that show.
Oh, I think a lot of people would be. But Chris,
would roll.
Let's go over to you about this. I don't think there's a lot of people surprised that there's not going to be a WandaVision season 2. Do you think this is the right move, wrong move? And what could Agatha maybe be, if not a smokescreen for a Wanda show, but could it kind of be a spiritual second season to WandaVision? How do you see this whole thing?
I definitely wasn't surprised by this because I never thought we were getting a second season. I thought it was that contained event, like Rob was saying. I really hope it's not a smokescreen. The Agatha show, I want it to be a deep dive into chaos magic. I want to learn more about that side of the Marvel universe, right? Give me more information about the Darkholme. Give me more information about Agatha and her upbringing with magic. Let me see more of those witches back from the day, right? Who Aaron thought everyone was speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
Give me more of those folks.
The telenovela episode of WandaVision really was well done.
I'm super into this idea, though, of Wanda being the big bad. I think that would be so fun because Elizabeth Olsen is such a powerhouse.
She's so great.
She's an incredible performer. I love just that little snippet we get of that when I do it, I'm the bad guy. I love it. Lean in, girl. Be the bad guy. I want it. I want it so much.
And she's playing multiple versions of that character as well. So
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to determine that from the trailer, but it does kind of give that appearance, doesn't it? Anyway, Aaron, telenovela or not, what do you think about the fact that they're not going to be returning for another season of this? Could Agatha be, kind of the spiritual thing? Where do you see Wanda going? Maybe this is that because they've got big plans for Wanda on the big screen? I don't know. What's your thought on this whole thing right now?
Well, I'm really glad that you brought up Big Little Lies, and I'm really glad that I then seconded that with True Detective because it does bring up the fact that we hear, limited series, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, just kidding, we're going to do more. I think that in the case of True Detective and Big Little Lies, the reason why they said limited series is because, let's face it, with Matthew McConaughey and
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody
yeah.
Harrelson. Thank you. They probably were not going to get them to sign on for more than one season, and they didn't because they were recast. But the story was so compelling that they were able to continue doing the season without them, and and tell a different story in the same world. And then with Big Little Lies, they also had so many powerhouse Academy Award-winning actresses all come together, and a lot of times I've been seeing this, from my side of things, of hearing other conversations. It used to be that if you were to sign on for a television series, before you even get the job, like when I've gone in to test for things, I've signed 7-year contracts, and it says in year 7, this is what you will make. Now, that's because that's just sort of the way that it's always been. But then when you're going after someone like Halle Berry, Nicole Kidman, Meryl Streep ain't signing a 7-year contract for your ding dong television show. However, when when these actors go and have a wonderful experience and they get to work with people that they respect and it turns out to be a great project, they might be willing to consider a second season. So I think that that's why we see Big Little Lies initially only doing a first season, but they left the end of the show kind of in a way of, but ladies, we'd love for you to come back if you wouldn't mind. And they had such a great time. They were like, let's do it again. They probably backed up the money truck to them too. When I did, I
love that truck.
I love that truck. When I did a limited series called Astronaut Wives Club for ABC, it was a limited series in that the show had run its full course, and Stephanie Savage, who is the creator of Gossip Girl, she said, like, there is nowhere for this story to go. There was a period where we were maybe going to do 3 seasons and stretch it out. And she said, I want it to be more compact, 1 season. So we always knew that no matter how much fun we had, no matter what the ratings were, this was only going to be 1 season because the story ended. And I love, Rob, what you said about how there may not be another WandaVision because that was a limited story, but that doesn't mean that there couldn't be a Scarlet Witch. So when we're hearing reports that WandaVision specifically will not get a season 2, that might be semantics. That might be, well, no, what you know of WandaVision will not come back. However, that doesn't mean that we will not see this character in another iteration. But regardless, it's clear that we, the viewers, are going to get a lot more of Wanda. And at the end of the day, that's what we want, whether it's on the big screen or it's streaming or it's on the big screen and then it's streaming, we're going to see her. So I'm just thrilled that her character is so exciting. And like you said, we're getting the Agatha spinoff. So we're still staying in that world. She ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to, I really don't think we're going to see a Scarlet Witch Disney Plus series because, Rob, you've mentioned this before, and I agree with you. I think she is now just too big. I think she is big screen and big screen only. And whether or not she turns out to be the next big bad or whether or not she's kind of redeemed at the end of Doctor Strange 2, I mean, who knows, whatever. But I still think that's where her immediate future is going to be. What do you think the chances are that TV show versus movie future for her?
Well, I think, she's a movie star. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The fact that she did WandaVision, I think, it speaks to her and her team to say, you know what, this is a good move for you. And it was so unique and so interesting and from an acting perspective, with her playing all these different roles. I mean, it was kind of a tour de force bit for an actress to do. I was playing a superheroine, a member of the Avengers, but now I get to do this crazy. I get to recreate sitcoms. And so from an acting perspective, I thought it really bolstered her credibility, but she's still a movie star.
Right.
And I think now she's gone in, and if she is what movie star doesn't want to play the hero and then also get to play
a villain?
The villain? I mean, come on. Yeah. And do both at the same time, as we've seen in the trailer. I mean, she's going up against Benedict Cumberbatch, who could very well be now the Academy Award-winning Benedict Cumberbatch. And right after the Oscars, what movie is she in? Oh, with Academy Award winner Benedict Cumberbatch, they're going mano-y mano or woman-y mano or whatever, or sorceress versus sorcerer, sorcerai. I mean, come on, I want to see that. And we're gonna on May 6th.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? We've always said for a long time that they're probably not going to do a second one. It was a limited series, but still there was that kind of glimpse that a lot of people thought maybe they still will do it. Apparently now they're not. How do you guys feel about that? Jump into the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move on to our 5th and final main topic here today, shall we? Chris, What is our fifth main topic today?
I'm so excited about it.
Oh, dear.
It's from James.
Oh no.
The early word on Morbius is hitting, and it's not good. Besides most reactions painting a bleak sign of the quality of the film, reports are revealing that pretty much all ties to a larger spider universe have been cut from the movie. Everything in the trailers, including all of Michael Keaton's scenes, are gone except for one different Keaton bit as a tag. I'm seeing angry reactions of being tricked into seeing a bad movie via false advertising of a Spider-Man universe film. Do you think this thinking holds water?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in. And yes, there is a movie coming called Morbius that I think the trailers have looked great. I think the two clips that have been released for it look amazing, especially that one on the ship where he's just like wrecking fools. Love that. I love the cast. I have been full-blown all in on this film. Now, obviously, I always say it could turn, who knows? It could turn out to be a car wreck. I have great faith in this film. Or at least I have had great faith in this film going into it, and I'm still very, very excited to see it. Now, yes, there are some reports going around, but let's be very clear. No official word has come out from anybody who's seen the movie about whether they like the movie or not. There is a report going around of somebody who didn't see the movie saying they talked to somebody who saw the movie and that person did. So we're already 3 degrees of Kevin Bacon separation here. So I'm not going to worry about that part right now. But as somebody who has been, number one, defending this film and been very excited for this film, there's something else that I'm hearing that is sounding very, very concerning to me. And that is the notion that, as the person who wrote in suggested, that all this stuff in the trailer, with all this connective tissue to the overall Spider-Man universe and stuff, and let's face it, that has been the main gist of these trailers. Poof, isn't even in the movie. It's not even there. This comes to us from the folks over at CBR wrote the following. The trailers for Sony's upcoming Marvel movie Morbius are full of Easter eggs to the wider Spider-Man universe, but according to reports, many of them did not make the final cut of the movie. The scenes that were cut allegedly include shot of Morbius walking past the poster of Spider-Man on the wall with the word murder. That's been in every piece of their marketing. Painted over it, and newspaper headlines that hinted at the presence of Rhino and Black Cat. It also appears in Michael Keaton's role as Adrian Toomes, or as we know him better, Vulture, have been cut greatly and reduced, and now only exists in a post-credit scene. According to Santos, who is from the Hashtag Show, and who has seen the film apparently, Morbius is a messy film unsure of what universe it exists in. Though it won't release until April 1st, Morbius has received negative reviews from some journalists who have allegedly seen the film. Again, that's all coming third party. It's not actually coming from any first-level sources. The impressions that have leaked from the screenings are of a movie that is boring and uncalculated with only minor nods to the larger universe. All right. We understand, as somebody who made a documentary about movie trailers, that sometimes when a trailer gets made, there are things that were going to be in the movie that then later maybe get edited out. A shot here or a shot there, those sort of things. I would propose that this is different, if true. And by the way, a giant neon asterisk has to flash over all of this with the words, if true.
Right.
I have not seen Morbius yet, so I cannot personally attest to the validity of the claims being made here. We are simply talking right now and basing our discussion on the, if true, flashing neon light, okay? Understanding that, if true, that thing with Spider-Man isn't even in it. The Daily Bugle with references to Black Cat and Rhino are not in it. That all these clips and dialogue and things we're hearing from Michael Keaton aren't even in the movie, aside from maybe a post-credit scene. This, I would propose, is fundamentally different from, oh, hey, yeah, when we made the trailer, this shot from this angle was going to be in the movie, but now it's not in the movie, got edited out. This is different from that. Because what Sony's approach, and I am a Sony defender, Sony's approach to the marketing when you watch it has been all about, hey, everybody, look how closely connected this movie is to the MCU world, to the larger Spider-Verse film. That's what this whole damn thing has been. Even the most recent featurette that they just put out with Jared Leto, who we were having some discussions about before the show started, but even that featurette that I talked about yesterday, the whole damn thing with him is talking about, now we're in the multiverse. Jared Leto saying to the audience, we're in the multiverse now. It opens up all these possibilities. And that last damn trailer for Morbius was all about Michael Keaton. It was narrated by Michael Keaton. We saw Michael Keaton in 3 separate scenes. And his voice overtop a good chunk of that trailer. We look at the previous trailers. The main thing that everybody talks about, walking by that mural on the wall with Spider-Man and all that kind of stuff, the references to the Daily Bugle, and all that, this whole marketing campaign has been revolved around the idea, hey guys, this is so connected. Oh, this is so, you don't even know how connected this movie is. That has been the message that Sony have been putting forth to the public about this movie that I have defended and talked about and supported. And if true, flashing neon light, if true that none of that is in this movie, that is not a simple editing decision that got made at one point. That is not simply that, oh yeah, man, that was in the movie, and oh no, it kind of isn't. What this represents is nothing short of a massive deception, a fraud. It would represent nothing short of a fraud that Sony is perpetuating onto us, the audience. When you base your entire ad campaign around, oh my gosh, guys, wait till you see how many Spider-Man connections are in this thing. Although you may not have blatantly said it, your whole marketing campaign has been about that, to the point that even a vignette of Jared Leto talking to the audience, ladies and gentlemen, we can't wait for you to see this. Oh, the multiverse is open up. If you now go into this movie and all that's taken away, it tells me that you decided we can't sell this movie unless we basically lie. Let's basically lie to the audience. Again, under the flashing neon light of the if true with an asterisk. I've not seen the movie. I don't know. My hope springs eternal. But Rob, I'm going to tell you this. If I come walking out of this movie, and by the way, everything might be true, that all these things have been taken out, and the movie might still be great. But if I come walking out of this movie and I experience a film that is an antithesis to what the marketing campaign was, I may still enjoy the movie very much. Who knows? We'll see. I'm going to be damn disappointed in Sony. Like, damn disappointed in Sony, what they've done here. I know, Rob, you're hearing these reports, understanding that we're under the bright neon light of what if true with a big asterisk. But if we walk out of this movie and find out this is true, that this whole marketing campaign has been BS, I don't know. What's your thoughts on this? What's your reaction to it?
I think, if true, flashing neon lights, I think something happened as a result of Spider-Man No Way Home. And that is this. This movie just is mediocre. It's just not good. And
we don't know that. We haven't seen it.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going with this.
Right.
And after the raging success of Spider-Man No Way Home, Carnage, or Venom Let There Be Carnage, also made $500 million. Unless you have a movie that's going to make $500 million or better, they don't want it as part of their Spider-Verse. This movie might have become a liability in the wake of the great success of Spider-Man. So they made a choice. They're like, you know what? This could be a Marvel movie like Blade, a one-off thing. We are going to cut it out of our Spider-Verse because it's not good enough to be in it. So there was a choice made because the movie's made, a long time ago. It's been delayed. I think the powers that be, if this is all true, the marketing was already out there. Can't get rid of the marketing. It's going to be there, whatever. But by doing what they seem to have done, if true, flashing lights, they're throwing this overboard. The plane can't take the weight of a mediocre movie. So they're cutting all the references to the greater MCU or the greater multiverse or whatever. And they're going to say, you know what? Yes, this is based on a Marvel project, but it is not part of our Spider-Verse and it's not part of the MCU. And they got rid of it all because it didn't turn out to be. Now, I've never heard of them doing something like that before, but when I read this report, when I was reading and went back and read before the show today, I was like, why would they do that? Like you, I'm like, they based this movie on being a part of this thing that maybe they're making it their own Sinister Six. But if Jared Leto, if it just didn't work, And they finally made a difficult choice. We can't not release it. So they said, this is not a part of the MCU anymore. This is just a standalone Marvel movie about a vampire.
So you're operating on, if true, you're operating on an assumption here that it was all in there and then they have subsequently removed it.
Yes.
I got a feeling that if we see it's not in there, I'm going to go with a different assumption that it was never there in the first place. And by the way, I should point out here, none of us were ever saying that, oh, we think Spider-Man's going to be in the movie. Like, that's not what we're saying. But it's just that they promoted this film as it's really leaning into the connections with the Sony Spider-Verse, maybe with the MCU Spider-Verse. Even they dropped names like Tony Stark the other day. Again, we're not saying we expected to see a Spider-Man swinging through the city. It's just that your whole marketing campaign was based on this.
Yeah.
Aaron, let me ask you. I know that Morbius is not a film that takes one of the top 3 spots of your most anticipated films of the year, nor Joey Bishop's, apparently, by looking at Joey's excited
livid.
She's
Joey
livid.
Bishop was ranting before the show today. She is, I mean, can you
Look
see?
how upset
Look at
she
the
is.
rage.
She's
Oh my
like
gosh.
old Yeller at the end of the movie.
Wait, that's not good.
Dead?
I love
Old Yeller died?
yes, yes.
Oh, I
They
just thought he
shoot-
had rabies and he took over the town.
No, they shoot Old Yeller
That's
at the end.
Cujo.
They
You're
never showed me the end of
Cujo.
the movie.
This is an emotional day.
Spoiler alert! It's my dad's favorite film of all time, by the way, is Old Yeller.
Aw.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't make it. Not good for
So
Old Yeller.
yes, no, Joey Bishop is more like Cujo, just really pissed off. This doesn't bode well for Jared Leto overall. You know, I mean, this being his first big standalone, feature. He's obviously an incredibly talented actor and has done, as we were talking before the show, some wonderful supporting roles in, all the way back from Fight Club and American Psycho and, anybody who knows him
Hey,
as Jordan
Halberstram. I love American Psycho.
Everybody who loved him as Jordan Catalano in My So-Called Life, there's no doubt that he's an incredibly talented actor. But this does not bode well for him. And it also, there's this, the impression that I get from what we're hearing is the idea of, I'm going to go sit at this table now, but yeah, no, we're cool. Yeah, it's like, I just feel like they're slowly kind of backing away. And isn't this movie coming out like next week?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's also really concerning is that we're hearing these reports. So people are seeing this movie. I think it would be different if we were hearing these reports, say, 3 months ago, where very few people would have seen the movie. It wouldn't have been leaked, but like the movie's getting out there, and there's not. I don't hear a lot of responses countering these thoughts. So,
Well, technically, I think it's still under embargo.
Okay.
Right. I think it will be for the next couple of days. So we'll find out.
Okay. Embargo from, reporters and from critics and people but there's people that are seeing it.
And by the way, if this is true, this movie's going to get destroyed.
Oh, yes.
by
It will.
the film Twitter and the
Yeah, it
press.
is.
Oh, yeah.
Chris says,
I'm
but
just
that
going to pass the
doesn't
mic
mean
because I
underpass.
feel like Chris has a lot more important things to say about this and I'm ready. I'm here for it. So, Madam Chris. Goddess Chris, please speak.
Now, obviously, you think these reports are overblown. You have all the faith in the world
Oh my
in this
gosh.
movie.
I believe in this
so
movie
much
so
faith in this movie. No, it's just you're hearing all this. What's standing out to you, and where's your expectation level now?
I don't want to be someone who said I told you so.
Be that person.
I do want to be that person. I never thought this looked good to begin with. I think it's wild though that these things aren't potentially in the movie if this is true. If this is true and none of these things are in there, this is an Ana de Armas situation in Yesterday. Rob and I are going to have a class action lawsuit. It's going to be amazing. This is how we pay your mortgage, Rob, all right? We're making it happen.
Yeah, it would bum me. I'll tell you one thing. I think we'd all just be, well, you might not be, but I will be bummed out if this is the case.
I mean, I know that I do have a very Cheshire cat grin about all of this. I don't actually want a movie to be bad. I'd love to go there and be like, wow, I got to eat some crow. That was a fabulous film. But I don't think it's gonna be.
For why?
For why is it made?
Why did they? And listen, I'm going to go into this movie with all the hope in the world. I have been excited about this film. I'm not going to change my thoughts on that. And this may or may not have any impact on the quality of the movie. I'm going to be very, very disappointed in Sony. Like I said, the bottom line is, if what they put together to sell to the audience was, look how connected this is into everything. And then we go into the movie and none of that stuff that they pretended was there is actually there. I'm going to be very disappointed in them as a company, and then we'll see how the movie itself does.
John, if they did cut this movie loose, I think you're going to see the movie, and I will see the movie and go, it's probably pretty good that they, at the last minute, decided to throw it under the bus.
Because that was the only saving grace for me was, okay, well, it's connected to the greater MCU.
Yeah.
I have to see it. That's part of it. I have to see everything.
But
if
then
they're
again,
snipping.
it's not like movies are made in a day.
Right.
And it's not like this hasn't been delayed throughout the pandemic. I mean, when was this movie supposed to come out? 2 years ago?
The first trailer, I remember I looked up the trailer today, like the original trailer, so I wanted to look at some of the things that were in it. It's like, oh yeah, this trailer came out over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like,
So this is something that would have been a long time coming, and the fact that they've continued to lean into the marketing using that Michael Keaton thing, this is why, if this is true, it leads me to believe that somebody made a decision really recently to do this, because the marketing has been done for a long time.
So why not just shelve it?
too much money.
Too much money and too much money in the contracts.
Because even right now, with all the
true.
buzz, right now, Box Office Pro is tracking that Morbius could make up to like $60+ million opening weekend. They're saying the range is anything from 40 to 60. So I mean, that's not money you can sneeze at. I mean, that's not
Right.
money you can just literally throw away. You still got.
And if they know that the movie is not going to get the word of mouth to continue the momentum, they have to bank on that opening weekend because they
Absolutely.
know that there's not going to be anything else. I mean, that's how you get to those $1 billion box office numbers, is because people see it once and then they see it 18,000 times.
Tell all their friends.
But if they know that it doesn't have that, because also I think that normally we would be seeing a lot more buzz if they really believed in the movie. We'd be seeing a lot more.
Yeah, there'd be a lot. But you do raise an interesting point, because I was just saying to you, oh, come on, Aaron, the reason you don't shelve it is because his 60, 70. I mean, this thing's going to make $100-something million, like in the domestic box office. I mean, look, but you're also a company that has Kraven the Hunter coming. You've got Madam Web coming. You got all these kind of things.
It's going to be another movie.
This will never gonna get old. But if this movie, let's say this, again, I have all the faith in the world in the movie for now. But let's say this thing is an absolute train wreck and is so bad that you're right about this, Rob, that at this point, they're just taking things out to try to distance itself from other movies. Maybe you're biting $100 million bullet. But if it's so bad that it could affect people's expectation and excitement for your future movies, like Kraven the Hunter and whatever, because if this thing, let's say this thing is a giant stink bomb, people are just going to chuckle when a Kraven the Hunter trailer comes out. I mean, so maybe you should consider, I mean, if it is that bad, by the way, I am not saying it's bad. I believe it's going to be awesome. But let's say it is. At what point do you go, maybe it's just for the best if we just shelve this thing? I don't know.
I love blueberries. There is nothing that I would rather eat on this planet than a just big bowl of fresh blueberries. I will eat anything that is blueberry flavored. However, if there's a blueberry with mold on it, I got to sacrifice you. I got to throw you out. Because if I accidentally eat a blueberry with mold on it, and then I go, oh my God,
It's going to ruin you for blueberries.
I'm just putting the rest of them back in the fridge, and I'm going to let Tom deal with those blueberries. I'm just going to be like,
You're one of those, huh?
Yeah,
You take
yeah.
raw fruit and just puts it
Absolutely.
back in the
Put the
fridge.
moldy
blueberries back
in the fridge.
Or
for
the
your
empty
husband
milk
to eat.
carton.
no, I already ate the moldy blueberry. I'm putting the rest,
But there
Okay.
could be more
I'm a
bullshit.
shitty wife is what,
And you get
ultimately.
me shit for leaving my clothes in the dryer and just pulling them out as I need them.
John, I will say though that we're only saying this because this report, we're
Yes.
responding to this report.
If true.
If true, bing, bing. But I do think that if it is true, this will be a fascinating case study moving forward in terms of franchise management and inter-studio cooperation, because you would think that something like this, Marvel would never have had this kind of a quote unquote failure, because I bet that even after taking all this material out, the movie then would have to be pretty mediocre for them to have taken the material out in the first place. And I want to know the story. Who made that decision? Who made that call? And when did they do it?
Well, we will find out here, because you all know this movie's going to be great. I'm standing on that rock, but I'm losing my
Hey,
footing.
man, it could be cool. I love vampire movies.
Maybe it'll be great. Maybe it'll be awesome, and this is all for naught. But anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this report that all this apparently connective tissue that the trailers were so bragging about might not even be in the movie? And if it's not, then what does that tell us about the movie overall? We're not far away now from this movie coming out. What are you guys thinking? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Today's episode of Movie Club is sponsored by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. Guys, more and more we enjoy shopping online, whether it's on our phones or our computers. And how many times have you gotten to the checkout and seen that promo code box and thought, man, if I only had a promo code, I could save some money? Well, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. So here's the situation. You're shopping online on one of your favorite sites, and when you go to checkout, the Honey button appears, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Then just wait a few seconds as Honey works its magic and searches for coupons it can find for that site that you're on, and if Honey finds a working coupon, just watch the price drop. Recently, Ann and I were hanging out at home one evening and we decided to order in, and the Honey button appeared. I was able to apply a coupon and I actually saved like $6 or $7. It was that easy to use. And Honey doesn't just work on your desktop computer, it also works on your iPhone. Just activate it on Safari on your phone and save on the go. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/movie club. That's joinhoney.com/movie club. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, Coinbase. Have you found yourself curious about getting involved in cryptocurrency, but if you're like a couple of friends of mine who have been really interested in it, they felt kind of overwhelmed by it, like not even knowing how to get started? Well, that's where Coinbase comes in, because they make learning to buy and sell crypto simple. Coinbase offers a trusted and easy-to-use platform to buy, sell, and spend cryptocurrency. They support the most popular digital currencies on the market and make them accessible to everyone. They offer portfolio management and protection, learning resources, and a mobile app so you can trade securely and monitor your crypto all in one place. And that's why millions of people all over the world in 100 different countries trust Coinbase with their digital assets. So whether you're looking to diversify, just getting started, or searching for a better way to access crypto markets, start today with Coinbase. And for a limited time, new users can get $10 in free Bitcoin when you sign up today at coinbase.com/Campea. Sign up at coinbase.com/Campea for $10 in free Bitcoin. This offer is for a limited time only, so be sure to sign up today. That's coinbase.com/Campea. And thank you to the good folks at Coinbase for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Honey did not sponsor this episode. That was our ad for Movie Club, and I accidentally forgot to take it out of the rotation for today's show. But hey, Honey's awesome too. Go use them as well. They're great. They're sponsoring our Movie Club show. Anyway, guys, with that all down, let's now move over and start taking your live comments and questions, shall we? Chris, what do we got going on in there?
We're kicking things off with Waleed. Morbius looks like Dracula, untold literally.
There it is. Okay. I don't know that it does, to be honest with you. Dracula Untold should have been so great with Luke Evans.
Dude.
That movie should have been really great, but yeah, I don't know that it looks like that. All right, what's next?
Bummer that was.
Yeah.
Casey Mack. Hey, crew. Little bummed out today. I found out Everything Everywhere All at Once is playing nowhere near me, but I think it goes wider on April 8th, so I think maybe that'll be when I get to see it.
Ann and I, we got our tickets for it, but we couldn't get our tickets in the city where we live. So we're going to have to drive into Burbank to go and watch it this week, which is fine, because I'll go anywhere to see Michelle Yeoh. I mean, that's fine. If it's playing there, it's playing there. But I'm excited because tomorrow night we're going to go see Lost City. I'm very excited for this Dan.
Ooh, that looks so fun.
It looks, all the critics I'm reading about it say it's absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to see that tomorrow. And then the day after, we're going to go into Burbank and go watch everything everywhere all at once.
Do you know that Michelle Yeoh was a Bond girl 25 years ago?
Was that 25 years ago?
Tomorrow Never Dies was 25 years ago.
Ugh. All right, what's next?
From L. Renshaw, thoughts on the massive Tyreek Hill trade?
I did not see the Tyreek. Tyreek Hill got traded? I didn't see it, so I can't give any thoughts about it, but I will definitely look for that. This is sports ball.
It's a sports
Neat.
thing.
Okay.
Sports ball thing. All right, what's next?
Dad jokes. Hi, John and crew. Will you be doing Seven Samurai for an upcoming movie club? Many argue it's in the top 3 all-time greats. Come on, Rob. Will you advocate?
Probably won't be doing it.
I got action figures of all 7 of those samurai.
I don't think it's the top 3 film of all time, but it is an all-time great. It's a wonderful, wonderful film. But the reality is, look, let's be honest. We did arguably the greatest film of all time yesterday in The Godfather. And I remember saying to Rob,
You did.
and it's the 50th anniversary of The Godfather this week, right?
Tomorrow.
But I remember saying to Rob, despite the fact that it's 50th anniversary, and despite the fact that it is inarguably one of the greatest films of all time, and arguably the greatest film of all time, depending on who you ask, I said to Rob, I bet you this is going to be our lowest viewed episode of Movie Club. And it is, by a wide margin.
And also,
Which is really too bad because it's one of the greatest, but I really don't think we would get many people watching it if we talked about Seven Samurai.
I mean, Godfather's 50 years old. And think about it. Our viewership, they weren't alive. Most of the viewership of this channel is not alive. And Seven Samurai is 20 years older than that? 70 years old? 70, maybe more?
Generally speaking, our motto for Movie Club is celebrating our favorite films of the last 25 years. Now, for The Godfather, we will make some exceptions here. It's the 50th anniversary. We did that, but we'll see. But no, we will probably, unfortunately, not cover Seven Samurai, unfortunately. But you do hear us talk about it all the time here.
Is going to be 50 in 3 years.
Whoa. That's bananas.
3 years.
Crazy.
Jaws
All right.
will be 50.
What's next?
From Daniel Dang. Have you guys seen the 2003 HBO series Carnival with Nick Stahl and Clancy Brown? Still the worst cancellation of all time for me, even over Firefly.
I never
Carnival
did.
is awesome.
I love Clancy Brown.
It was so
Clancy
good.
Brown's great, but I've never.
If you guys, it's got to be on HBO Max, right?
It's
got-
got,
all
It
HBO
went
stuff is
yeah.
still
2
on the thing,
seasons. Watch it.
Oh, never heard of it. All right, I'm going to have to check it out.
Really
Thanks for
good.
putting that on the radar, Daniel. All right, what's next?
From Andy, in the Academy's attempt to get non-film famous people in the Oscars, they've announced that Elon Musk will host next year's Oscars in advance. LOL.
Well, I mean, why not? The dude hosted Saturday Night Live.
From space. He'll host it
From
from
space.
space.
I'll tell you what, if he does it from Mars, I'll say he's earned it. If he can get to Mars by next year, I'll say he's
And
earned
if
it.
you can
He
get
host
that
it.
like live stream back in time,
That's
would be
right. It
pretty
would probably
impressive.
take a while for the live stream to get back. All right, what's next?
From Downwell, did you hear about Tron 3?
Okay, so apparently, Jared Leto said that they're still working on Tron 3. So, I mean, maybe they're
Jared Leto also
Jared
said
Leto's
Spider-Man
affiliate-
was going to be in.
Yeah.
He didn't say Spider-Man.
I'm
would
Yeah,
be in it.
Morbius is going to really lend itself to getting.
didn't know-
Tron 3
Yeah,
off the
I
ground.
didn't know he was affiliated with the Tron.
I'm not so sure at this point. But look, they've always been trying for it, but nothing has been greenlit, and I still have my doubts that it will. But we'll find out. All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher, 1 of 2. You ever go back and rewatch a series, and no matter how likable a character is written, played, you hate them because the way they end up or is written out? Not traitor characters, but a character makes a series of stupid choices in season 5 that's their own fault and gets them killed. So when season 1 starts, you pre-hate them. Yes.
Who are we talking about specifically?
No, I like it's funny because like people say to me, can a bad like third movie in a trilogy ruin the first movie story? I'm like, no, the movies or episodes that come already are what they are. And if I love that character in those episodes, I will, and then I'll hate them in the ones that I begin to hate them. But I've never really had that experience myself. Any of you guys?
Oh man, Felicity Smoke on Arrow. I was just like, you're so annoying. All of your choices
love
are
that
bad.
character.
I love
Oh, I thought you meant Felicity.
Until the later
Felicity
seasons.
until I thought you meant like Felicity, and
Oh,
I was
no.
like, yeah, and she cut her hair. And what was
when she cut her
thinking?
hair, I was like, no, ma'am.
One of the
that was
biggest
great.
controversies in TV history, Carrie Russell cut her hair. It's like, what did they do with Felicity?
I'm going to refrain from answering this question.
All right, because we know where you're going. All right, what's next?
From
Should be K Major, I think.
Thank you so much. Due to the rise in gas prices, Fast and Furious 10 will be using BMX bikes for all their stunts.
True.
Breaking news.
True.
I'll tell you what, look, I don't mean to rub anything into anybody anywhere, but man, every time now that I drive by, because I'm driving a Tesla now, and every time I drive by a gas station, I can't help but feel a little bit good about my decision to be driving electric. I got solar panels and the solar batteries right here that I just plug my car into the solar and I just charge my car up. So it's like,
I am
very
so
grateful that I did that.
mad.
I am very glad that I bought a Prius like right a month ago.
Yeah, you guys, both of you
We
guys.
both
did.
bought Priuses from Hamer Toyota.
I'll one day have an electric car.
Well, you have,
One day it'll
don't
be
you have
here.
a hybrid coming of some sort?
I'm getting a full electric.
Oh,
That's
it's a
what
full
I have.
electric
That's
you
why
have
it's
coming.
taking
That's
so
right.
long to get it.
All right, what's next?
All right.
Tacky?
From Tacky75. Went to see Michael Bay's latest movie, Ambulance. Walked out after 30 minutes because I became physically ill due to the constant use of shaky cam.
Ooh, that's, you know what? It's funny because when Aaron, you and I saw this big preview for it at CinemaCon, by the way, the next CinemaCon is next month.
And we're all going.
I have
And we're all
tickets pulled
going.
up for us.
Did Ambulance open?
No, Ambulance hasn't opened yet, but maybe there were some advanced screenings for it or something like that, but I do not believe it's open. But I was not personally impressed by what we saw. And I know you were, and a lot of other people were. Like, I think most people were very excited for the movie. But even then, there's a lot of shaking camera in that. But I never even think about what would the physical effects of that be over 2 hours.
I do not remember it at all.
The Jake Gyllenhaal one where they're robbing a bank and they use the ambulance to get away. They showed us a big...
Oh yeah. Okay.
You actually really liked the preview.
Yes. Okay. I well, you know, I like, as my mother calls them, the shoot 'em up movies. She goes, I don't like a lot of that shoot 'em up.
We actually have a friend who made a movie called Shoot 'em Up.
Oh,
So-
We
really?
do.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll send it to my mom for April Fool's Day.
She'll love it.
It's fun.
You know, I don't mind a shaky camera if I know that's what I'm going in for. But I know that I forget what movie it was, but there was actually a movie that was. It had like people signing a health release form before they went and saw it, or it had like a disclaimer at the top because there were people that were getting physically ill watching the movie, and it wasn't Blair Witch Club. But as long as I know,
Blair Witch Project.
Blair Witch.
The Blair
Blair
Witch
Witch
Club.
Club.
Were there a bunch of witch babysitters?
No, yeah, Blair Witch Project. Thank you. I remember the only seat left in the theater. I was in the front row, so I watched the entire Blair Witch Project like this, and I was so sick afterwards. But
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to watch that way. Like from a biological point, it's hard to watch that way.
right. Yeah, I think that is if I understand that there's going to be a lot of shaky camera movements, and I know where to sit in the theater to understand that, to be able to watch it and stomach it. And I also don't get car sick, so it doesn't really bother me too much.
You know,
do.
John, I want to see this movie. I do. I want to see it. It looks good, but I cannot believe that anybody really thinks that they're going to end up in a high-speed car chase in downtown LA and escape.
I have such an issue with this.
Bay. No one believes anything that's
but
ever going to happen in
perhaps,
Michael Bay.
you know, I looked there like they're going to go across the 7th Street Bridge. I'm like, where are you going to go, bruh?
Yeah.
Are you going to
Nowhere
get in
to
the LA
go.
River? Like,
Well,
where are you going to go?
They're going to get on the radio and say, you got to clear traffic for us ahead of us, or else we're going to shoot the person. I don't know.
Where are you going to escape a police helicopter driving at 20 miles an hour?
I
They're
know.
going to take
the
I feel like
helicopter's
we've
going to
seen
be
the
like,
movie.
what do you want me to do? People aren't moving.
Anyway, yes, we got to move. We got to keep
Sorry.
rolling on here. All right, what's next?
All right, from Andy. I just realized that since Jason Momoa is in Fast 10, he can finally fight John Cena and get back at him for that fucking fish comment on Peacemaker.
I tell you that comment on Peacemaker is one of the greatest lines in television
good.
history. One of the greatest lines in television. Sorry, not the joke, but Jason Momoa's response.
Barry.
"Fuck you, Barry," is one of the greatest lines ever in television history. I love it. All right, what's next?
Another one from Andy. Everyone has their favorite Batman, but one of my favorite Batmen is the How It Should Have Ended Batman. Can't wait for the Batman, How It Should Have Ended. Love their content.
You know why? Don't say it. Because I'm Batman. The Batman on How It Should Have Ended is so funny. It's like, you probably don't know where we're talking
I don't
about.
know what you're talking about.
There's
I'm
this
smiling.
online thing they've been making it for well over a decade. How It Should Have Ended has been around a long time, where they do in very easy animation, like, it's exactly what it sounds like. How this movie should have ended.
Oh, I
How
love
this
that
movie-
idea.
Like for the Lord of the Rings, it's like how Lord of the Rings should have ended. And it's got all the characters standing around. It's like, we must take this ring to Mordor. And then it cuts to a scene of them riding the giant eagles and dropping the ring in the volcano. And one of them going, man, can you imagine if we try to walk here, well, that's ridiculous. Why would we do that when we have these giant eagle friends? Like, that's what it is. But it got to the point where it started being kind of narrated by Batman and Superman sitting in a diner. And it's always, you know, I know why? Because I'm Batman. And it's a great Batman. It's really, really quite good. All right, what's next?
All right, from Alex von Gollum. Ari Godfather. The cinematography from Gordon Willis, the Prince of Darkness, is incredible. How he used shadow, light effects to convey character traits.
Listen, we did, for the movie club yesterday, we did The Godfather. And you're right, the cinematography of this movie is so beautiful and is so perfectly shot and done. It lends itself to it so well. It's an excellent observation, Alex. All right, what's next?
From Purple Haze 4564. Hey, John, I can't stand AMC pricing. I hate it so bad. I didn't get the commercial with Nicole Kidman, but I think I'll stick with Tinseltown that I've been going to for years, seeing it in XD.
I'm not going to lie to you right now. If I had, to me, it's about convenience. And for me, but the closest movie theaters to me are the AMCs. So I'm going to go. I'm not going to lie. A-list is also pretty damn great. But if I had a Regal that was closer to me, I'm probably getting Regal Unlimited and going to Regal Cinemas. But again, as much as I dislike a lot of the things AMC is doing right now, and they have the worst CEO in America.
And who is that?
I can't remember his name. I'm just not going to say his name.
Voldemort.
The reality is, if I'm being honest, it is still my favorite movie going experience for now. But I don't know, if it wasn't for A-List and if it wasn't for the fact that they were always be the closest major theater to me, I may be jumping ship. All right, what's next?
All right, from Rick Brickmore. Hello, Campea gang. In watching the Moon Knight scene that dropped yesterday, just wanted to point out we're seeing Steven there, not Mark.
Well, semantics, tomato, but yeah, but which personality we're seeing, I don't know. I don't think they say the name.
I think we're seeing Mark talking to Steven in that one scene in the mirror.
Well, but he's talking about the Summon the Suit.
Right. Yeah.
Which, by the way, is a great scene.
Great scene.
I really liked what I saw. And you may be right about that, Rick. Good. Thanks for pointing it out. All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher. After movie club last night, I realized, if anything, The Godfather is King Lear. Also, after watching it, I couldn't be more excited for The Offer.
Well, actually, a couple things about you, Rob. Like, afterward, you were talking about that. What is The Godfather? You say it's a story about...
Coppola said The Godfather, in his mind, was a story about a king and his 3 sons.
And then what were you watching just before we started the show today?
I was watching the trailer for The Offer, probably for the 6th time since it's dropped.
Which looks so
the
good.
new trailer, it looks so good.
Cannot wait to watch that. All right, what's next?
From I Am Awesome 418, saw The Godfather for the first time yesterday at a theater. What a great movie and experience. Sonny told Michael not to make it personal, but he should have sent for Fabrizio. Hashtag justice for Apollonia.
Apollonia.
Oh, poor Apollonia.
Words.
A girl who literally had no dialogue in the movie.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, that's her big thing in that. But yeah, poor girl. Blows up and then is never mentioned again. But yeah, the fact that you got to see it on the big screen, man, I Am Awesome. I'm so jealous. I still never seen The Godfather on the big screen. I need to do that someday. But yeah, never make it personal and never side against the family. Never side against the family. All right, what's next?
From Kevin Cow.
Who gave us our figures?
Yeah. Can't wait to see more Loki, and welcome back, Aaron.
Thank you, Kevin.
I mean,
really
hey,
nice meeting you.
I got to go to your store, dude.
Yeah, we got to go to a store.
we
Like,
do.
we should
There's
make a
one thing
video
I
board to a
want.
store sometime.
Group
But seriously,
outing.
whether it's Doctor Strange or Thor, I'm always down seeing Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
Same.
Always. All right, what's next?
All right, from Ron W357, sending in a $20 super chat.
Thank you, Ron.
Hey, John and crew. Yesterday, an assistant director for Zack Snyder's Justice League posted a picture of a broken floor and a film reel with Restore the Snyderverse on it. There's been a lot of this going on. Is there an announcement coming for Snyder?
No, there's Snyder's moved on. He's doing great things.
He's making Rebel Moon for Netflix.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
And he's still doing more stuff with this zombie world of his that he's got coming up. He has completely moved on. Discovery, Zaslav has no interest in getting into that. So no, I think, look, there's a community that kind of built around this and they still like to celebrate, and that's awesome. But no, I don't think there's any announcements. Other than we're going to release Zack Snyder Justice League with extra 30 seconds in it, or like maybe like that.
I'd
but
buy
other than
that 4K.
I'm sure you would, but I don't think any other significant thing. I mean, you never know, but I'm not expecting it. All right, what's next? Thanks a lot again for that, Ron. By the way, thank you very much, dude. All right, what's next?
Ryan Ramirez just sending in some support. Thanks,
Thank
Ryan.
you.
Greg Milia, is it just me or are the Oscars starting to look more like the Golden Globes? These screw-ups are making me think that they're trying to top the Hollywood Foreign Press Association.
Totally different. No, okay,
You still can't buy an
Yeah.
Oscar.
Okay, so the difference between the Golden Globes and the Academy, the Oscars, is just the basic fundamental nature of the Golden Globes is that it's always been considered in Hollywood kind of like a joke award, in that, yes, it is a precursor to the Oscars because it gets a lot of buzz. And so it definitely gives a lot of extra attention on all the nominees for the Oscars. But it was always nominated by and voted for a group of people who were not
About 60 or 70 of them, by the way.
Right, a very small group of people who could be wined and dined very easily, and therefore their vote could very easily be swayed in one direction or another. And so the Golden Globes were not always necessarily honoring the best and the brightest, whereas the Oscars are and always have been nominated by and voted for by the very people who work in those industries. So it's by your peers who understand what it means to edit a film, what it means to do sound design, what it means to do, to be a cinematographer. And so it's one thing to say, I don't like how the broadcast is being produced and directed. It is a very different thing to say the actual award itself is in any way similar to the Globes, which
But I
is
think
not.
that's what he's getting. I think he's asking about the show. If like they're trying to make it, because the Oscars have been doing some stupid things lately, right? Like between the fact of who they have hosting it, who I love all three people who are hosting it, but they're a terrible choice for the Oscars. Then finding out that, the lead star of the Best Picture nominated film of the year is not even invited. And even when she asked to go to the Oscars, they said no, which is ridiculous. But DJ Khaled is going to be a presenter at the Oscars.
And then they weirdly backtracked that.
Yeah, and then too late, just days before the event, they get see all the backlash and all this. They say, okay, now they invited her to come, Rachel to come and be at the Oscar and present. It's almost too late because she's got her scheduling things now. And if I was Rachel, when they called me and said, okay, now we'd like to invite you, I'd be saying, you never invited me before. And when I called you and asked you if I come, you could say, you said no. So that's exactly what I'm going to tell you. It's time for the old double effers and say, no, I ain't going. Like that's what they deserve at this point. Anyway. And
but again, is that the Academy or is that whoever is directing and producing it this year?
Well, it's the Academy. So the producers of the Oscars don't actually oversee. They oversee the presenters list. They don't oversee the guest list. And she just asked to get a ticket. The lead actress in a movie. At any rate, this will be the second year in a row that I don't watch the Oscars. But I'll be very excited to hear the results. I am very excited for the results. All right, what's next?
All right, from Downwell again. Why is Hot Toys like $300? I want Alita Battle Angel. Also, what do you think about Alita Battle Angel movie?
The Alita Battle Angel movie was actually pretty good. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be, but I was quite entertained by it. There's a lot of work that goes into those Hot Toys, and that's why. But I think the average price is probably $250 is probably closer to the average price.
And also they have to pay for those head sculpts.
Yeah, which is
and
not
they have
easy.
to license those, and they don't manufacture them. Like Hasbro makes a Black Series Star Wars toy, and they make millions of them. Hot Toys is not making millions of their toys. By the way, the Alita Battle Angel Hot Toys, dope.
I believe it. All right, what's next?
All right. Oh, John, can you bring yours up again? Mine's not in the right order. I'm so sorry.
I thought I had it up. I'm sorry.
There you go. Thank you very much. Look at this photograph. I figured Keaton's cameo would be a post-credit scene. Also, the Venom reference, but can a studio edit a film after it gets its MPA rating?
Oh, yeah. The MPA rating doesn't really mean anything. And an MPA, it's not like there's a rule in Hollywood that says the MPA has to give it, and then the theaters have to follow it. There's actually no rule about that. The theaters are not legally obligated to follow those rules or to follow those guidelines.
So the MPAA could give an R rating to something, and then a theater could just randomly decide, no, we want to make more money, so we're going to give it PG-13.
No, it is rated R, but they can still let kids in without their parents if they want.
Oh.
Just like film can be, for instance, MPA says you can't release an NC-17 film in regular theaters. But when I was working at AMC, there was a little horror film by not Adam Wingard, but Adam, can't remember the director's name, but there was this slasher horror film that got an NC-17 and AMC decided to play it anyway. And it kind of made AMC and the MPA butt heads, but they're allowed to do that. So it is what it is. All right, what's next?
All right, from Brian's Game Talk, 1 of 2. Pixar Rotten Tomatoes average, a 5.48, 25 films. Lowest cinema score, A2 Best Picture noms, no wins. Toy Story 3 and up, 11 Best Animated Film noms, 7 wins. And then there he is. Steven Spielberg Rotten Tomatoes average, 79.47, 34 films as a director. Lowest cinema score, C+, 10 Best Picture noms, 1 win.
I get this comes from me talking about how I think there is an argument to be made that Pixar is not just the best animation studio, they may be the best movie studio. When you look at the overall quality, they just constantly crank out quality. There's the odd Cars 2 or something like that. But the very fact that they've done it this long, and you can probably name them. Cars 2, the friendly dinosaur with smiley teeth. What was the name of it?
The Good Dinosaur.
The Good Dinosaur.
Which is a cute film, but yeah.
Which was still a cute
it's
film.
still fine.
There's an argument being made, but yeah, when you compare against the greatest filmmaker of all time, yeah. But if you average it out, the dude does have 10 Best Picture
The numbers
nominations.
are still good, though.
All right,
This is
what's
why
next?
medium doesn't determine merit.
I agree.
From Rick Bickmore, a big reason for the Avatar 2 trailer to be released exclusively in theaters could be to make sure the people watching it are seeing it on the big screen and in the right environment.
True, but they care about that a lot less than just the marketing potential and getting money. So we talked about, for those of you who missed it the other day, there's a report going around that we don't know if it's true, but there is a report going around that the first trailer for Avatar 2 will play in front of Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness and be exclusive in theaters. This will, for a lot of people, despite, however, some people think, oh, nobody cares about Avatar anymore. Yes, they fucking do. Just accept that. And it could be that there might be some people on the fence about going to see Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness on opening weekend, but go, wait a minute, we get our first look at Avatar 2? They might buy tickets then. And you're right, it will be a different experience watching that trailer on the big screen than it will be at home, but it'll make its way online at some point quickly enough. All right, what's next?
All right. From Casey Mack, 1 of 2. Hey, John and crew. I actually just watched the first second episode?
The first 2 episodes.
The first 2 episodes of the French series Disney put on Disney Plus called Parallels.
Parallels.
Oh, very nice, Aaron. Thank you.
Parallels.
Overall, so far, I'm liking it. Gives off some major Dark and Stranger Things type vibes.
Ooh.
Might finish the season today because they dropped all 6 episodes.
I'll watch that.
Yeah, I have never even heard of the thing.
I haven't either.
I know Disney Plus has been getting more into some regional programming, just like Netflix has been doing as well. So that's not surprising. I haven't even heard of this one, but I might have to check it out at some point.
So all I hear dark. I'm in.
That was a very good George St. Pierre
Dark,
impersonation you did, by the way. Parallel. All right, what's next?
All right, from Al Renshaw. They shouldn't change rating of Monroe biopic.
Well, I mean, says who? You haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, if Netflix looks at it, and it's their film now, if Netflix looks at it and we think this is a better overall experience if we shave this out and if we shave this out, we think this makes a better, more watchable, better experience of a movie and makes it a more effective movie if we do that. Then guess what? It's their movie and they totally should.
Also,
and they might be right because we haven't seen the movie.
Does Netflix even air NC-17 content? They might not.
They
air
can. It's up to them. if
Right,
they
but
want
I mean,
to,
as
yeah.
a policy, I don't know.
I
if
don't
they-
know.
But the children.
All right, what's
Yeah, look what
next?
happened with cuties.
All right,
yeah.
from Glenn Mark. Hi, lovely peeps. A question for Rob. Do you ever wish the Star Trek spinoff Assignment Earth happened? I understand there's a comic series out there.
There is. So Assignment Earth was the last episode of the second season of the original series. It was a backdoor pilot about a human that was abducted by a race of aliens and sent back to Earth to help Earth along in the late 60s and the 70s and 80s to make sure we didn't destroy ourselves. And it was going to co-star Terry Garr as Roberta Lincoln.
I love
and,
Terry
Garr.
and
Terry
Robert
Garr.
Lansing played Gary Seven. And there's also a great series of books two written by Greg Cox that dealt with Khan Noonien Singh and the eugenics wars that also co-starred Gary Seven and Roberta Lincoln.
All right.
And but I didn't answer the question. Yes. And if I was going to do a Star Trek spin-off series, they should do the Gary Seven series and set it in the late 60s and make it going into the decades and show how he helped the Star Trek universe. But that's too creative and it would be too good.
All right.
So
What's
they won't
next?
All right, from Dante. Hey, Campea campers. I love that he calls us that. Finally watched The Godfather, and yeah, the hype was real. LOL. Also, how do I send Rob a gift? Thanks and mucho love to you all. Bring on the filthy.
Basically speaking, look, here's the reality. I know some people do things with post office box and stuff like that. The reality is in this world, it's not safe.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people have always asked me over the years, I got this thing I'd love to send you, but it's like, I don't feel safe. I don't think it's a good idea. But I mean, Rob may have ways.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, you can send Rob Bitcoin. But generally, we don't have those avenues. You can ask Rob maybe on his next Observatory if you set something like that up, but I just don't consider it to be a very safe thing, to be honest with you. Because I don't only have myself, I have other people that work with me that I also have to be concerned about, so that's why we don't offer things like that.
You can send gifts to my agent and manager's office, and I will get
Yeah, like if I had an agent or a manager, I would give that out. But
What do they do on OnlyFans? Don't you have like an Amazon list? Like
All right,
you
we
go
gotta
to
keep going. We
Amazon.
gotta keep going. All right, what's next?
From Shaquan Jackson. If the Oscars were smart, they would try to get Kevin Feige to host the Oscars and talk about the MCU and release trailers on their upcoming films. Then their ratings would boost.
Oh my God, everybody would fall.
Well, that's kind of what the MTV Movie Awards tried to do. I remember when the Transformers was coming out. They basically, the whole show was about Transformers. The whole MTV movie was about Transformers. That was the year they created the category best anticipated movie.
Best anticipated?
It was specifically so because Transformers was playing all their marketing on it. Michael Bay was there presenting. It was all a Transformer show. And that's what it would come into. Listen, just go back to what Rob and I have talked about before. They should have had Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield host it. It was the movie that saved movies this year. It is the most relevant movie, the most watched movie in years, and it was the best thing that was celebrated in movies this year. Those three should have hosted the Oscars.
And bring the villains on as well.
Yep.
Can you imagine that to help Willem Dafoe, Jamie Foxx, Thomas Hayden
Martin
Church?
Scorsese would be so pissed.
All right, what's next?
From Gone with the Cheetah. Hey, John and crew. So got a pitch for Power Rangers. Ditch the teenagers with attitude. Go back to the Japanese Sentai theme. 5 brave heroes defending Earth from interdimensional threats. Thoughts?
Hey, man,
Hey, listen, remember though, I crapped on the latest, the one that came out, how many years ago did that come out now? 5 years ago? The latest Power Rangers movie that came out? I was crapping all over the concept of that for a couple years before it came out. And I gotta say, you know what? I kind of liked it.
it was fun.
It was actually pretty fun. They did it pretty well. If you think that is what's going to get the audiences to come back, I don't think it will.
Plus, the former Blue Ranger who played Billy is currently working on a new project.
What is he working
He's
on?
supposedly working on bringing in a new Power Rangers story. We were watching a YouTube video on this the other day.
I
So
did
love
not
Power
know that.
Rangers.
Oh,
Fun
okay.
fact: I got one of my SAG vouchers by being a background actor on an episode of Power Rangers.
I never knew that. You were on set for a Power Rangers episode.
I was.
Was this
yeah.
before episode?
And I got a bump because there was smoke. And I was like, ooh, I get an extra $20 because they blew smoke in my face. Okay.
Was that before or after Prostitute number 2?
First of all, prostitute number 1.
Sorry, 1. Yes, it was 1. Sorry about that.
And that was not background. That was a speaking role.
I'm sad it didn't happen before or after.
It was before. That's it was
before.
how I helped
It's
them.
led you to.
Do you remember
Star
what
Trek.
episode title?
I'll try to find because you know what
I'm gonna look it up.
I was going through and I actually found all 3 of my pink SAG vouchers, and another one was from Sex and the City when they were shooting in Los Angeles. But I have all 3 of my pink SAG vouchers, so I'll look it up. I'll look up what the episode was.
All right, what's next?
All right. From James Saunders. Buy one, rent one, lose one. Corporate edition. Bob Chapek, Adam Aaron, or Jason Killer.
All right, I would buy Jason Kilar, although he made the stupidest decision in movie studio history with the whole 2021 release date stuff for Warner Brothers. He has done some very
Although
good
I heard
things.
that was Toby Emmerich's idea.
Well, whatever. He's the guy. It's his
greenlit it,
decision.
yeah.
It doesn't matter who has the idea if you're the guy who makes the decision. But he's also done some pretty smart things. I'll buy him. I would rent Bob Chapek. Again, I don't think he's had enough time to do the job. I think he should be given another year to see if he can straighten things out. All that kind of stuff for that. And obviously, I would sell Adam Aaron of AMC.
Now do fuck, marry, kill. I'm kidding.
All right, what's next?
Casey Mack. I don't know if even Misha Collins would get me to watch the Gotham Knights show. Then again, I am still watching Naomi for whatever reason, so maybe it will. LOL.
Listen, I'll tell you what, I am skeptical about this Gotham Knights show, but I will absolutely check out the first episode and see if it can win me over. Look, I was skeptical about Batwoman, right? This is back when Ruby Rose was still on it. And sure enough, I checked it out, and after about 2 or 3 episodes, I tapped out. It wasn't for me, and that's fine. But I still checked it out, even though I didn't think it looked
why not?
I will definitely check out Gotham Knights for sure, and we'll see if it wins. Listen, I didn't think Black Lightning looked good at all. That's the most ridiculous costume in superhero
great.
history. But I loved that show. So you always give it a shot.
By the way, come on, that costume. It's awesome.
Oh,
come
it's
on, dude.
such a
come
bad
on, man.
costume. But the show is so
Classic
good.
Black Lightning.
All right, what's next?
From Joel. What if Venom could sense the symbiote he left behind and it turned Spider-Man evil? Venom would have to stop him and get his symbiote back.
Didn't they just do that with Let There Be Carnage?
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of the same.
By the way, she was actually in a great episode of Star Trek Enterprise.
What was the name of it?
Carpenter
Street.
Street. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was the name of it. Okay, there we go. All right, what's next?
Good episode.
Thank you.
From Lucky BX. Hi, crew. I really enjoyed Movie Club yesterday.
Thank you, man.
I have to say my favorite scene in the Godfather trilogy is the Fredo I'm smart scene. Hashtag RIP John Cazale.
Was that
Zale.
part 2 that
Yeah.
happened?
I'm smart.
I'm smart.
Not like they say.
Oh, poor Fredo, man. Like, he was just born into the wrong family. If he was born into another family, perfectly happy life, perfectly normal guy.
I mean, he was in he died of cancer. He was Meryl Streep's boyfriend. He
We're
died of
talking
cancer.
about the actor now, not the character.
Yeah, not the character. Deer Hunter, Dog Day Afternoon,
Yeah.
The Conversation, and Godfather 1 and 2.
All right, what's next?
From Walter Whitewalker. Spiders are the
name.
size of a child's hand parachuting from the sky soon here on the East Coast. Aaron, coming to visit? Cruel. Rude.
Really? I don't have no idea what this is even
I don't
about.
know what that's about. I don't want to know what that's about. Don't even try to start telling me, Rob. I don't even care. I am supposed to be going to the East Coast to see family that I have not seen in 2 years, and they're all just going to have to FaceTime.
Where on the
because-
East Coast?
Huh?
Above or below on the East Coast?
Detroit, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago. If there's spiders,
You'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to Australia.
Don't go a little south, though.
All right, what's next?
From Alex, one of 2. Hello, John. I am one of those people who believe Avatar is overrated. Stephen Lang made that movie, in my opinion, and his absence will be felt.
He's in it.
Yeah.
Story took a back seat for impressive visuals. Second part. And it was a story, in my opinion, that was done better in other movies. Fingers crossed that he delivers, but this is the guy that hooked me in the face and told me Dark Fate was going to be an amazing movie.
And obviously that did not work out so well. Of course, and he didn't direct it. This is all, but like, if you're going to say that, then you'll say, this is the guy who gave us True Lies, who gave us Terminator, who gave us
Aliens.
Aliens, who gave us
The Abyss.
The Abyss, who gave us the third biggest franchise film, the third biggest box office film of all time, Titanic, who gave us, so yeah, you can point out one thing that he didn't even direct. And listen, I disagree. Listen, I totally agree. This movie, the first Avatar, was Dances with Wolves in Space. It was. But you can say that about several MCU movies. You can say, you can take several MCU movies and draw a direct comparison to another movie that has a similar story. Yes, and that's true and that's fair. But that movie was still really good.
You can say that
Avatar
about
was
any
so-
movie, though. Every
Yeah.
romantic
Yeah,
comedy
there's
is much
no-
ado about nothing.
There is no original story. Like, it's all just versions of Shakespeare. And even that wasn't original.
But I mean,
True.
and look, and it's not going to work for everybody. If the first one didn't work for you, it didn't work for you, and that's totally good. But it was the #1 box office film of all time for a reason. And I certainly didn't go back to watch it 2 or 3 times because of the visuals. The visuals are definitely a part of the experience for sure. But they told a really good story.
Yeah.
At least in our opinion.
It was
at that-
grown
And
up
there is a real
fervently.
sense of wonder. Like
Yeah.
I said, when they learn to fly those dragons, that whole sequence is amazing.
Yeah, there's something Cameron's able to capture that so well. But hey, it's not going to be for everybody. And yeah.
Because it's romantic. That's why it's considered.
All right,
you
what's
know.
next?
All right, from B. An AP article said Best Pick noms each get an allotment of tickets, which the studio doles out. Disney snubbed its own star. Academy giving Ziegler a ticket would be giving Disney more tickets than other noms.
There is an exception to that. And I was reading through, because there's a friend of ours who's been doing a lot of research on this, and I was reading through it. So there are, yes, generally speaking, each Best Picture nomination gets a certain thing of tickets and blah, blah, blah. But there's also other avenues as well. So that's not quite the way it works. But kudos on you for looking that up, man. I appreciate that. All right, what's next?
From Fifi. Happy Wednesday. Only a week till Moon Knight. Are you hyped?
Rob, you hyped?
Dude, I told you I have a whole bunch of underwear in my trunk just in case I have an accident.
How many accidents do you think you're gonna have?
So
Well,
So
to
many
be
accidents.
fair,
there's going to be a splash
they're
zone.
joyous accidents.
Oh,
All right,
God.
what's next?
Zach MTV. Hey, y'all. Love the show. Recently, I saw the
That's how
Batman.
excited I am.
The trailer for The Northman played before the movie. It looks so good. Less than a month away.
As of right now, The Northman is my number one most anticipated film of the
It
year.
looks so good.
Yeah, and then now that I've already seen The Batman, now my number one most anticipated film that I have not seen yet is The Northman. Again, Aaron and I saw this big preview thing they did for it at CinemaCon, where it started off with the director saying, "Hey guys, just so you know, we're still shooting this movie. A lot of the effects, the color hasn't been corrected. So, but watch this." And we still watched it. And I still went, "My God, I cannot wait to see this."
Robert Eggers is really an emerging, one of the great talents we have working. Young director, The Witch, The Lighthouse, now The Northman. The guy's incredibly talented.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see this movie.
Cannot
All
wait.
right, what's next?
From Tim. Hey, guys. I know I bring up hockey a lot.
That's
Sorry,
okay.
Can't help it. Especially with,
Ovechkin.
thank you, tying and breaking records. So I'm excited. So I wanted to throw in something different. I love the anime Bleach and can't wait for it to come back this October. What are some that you like?
I've never even heard of Bleach.
I've heard of Bleach and I've never watched Bleach.
I haven't seen it either, but I've
I
heard
will
of it.
say, if you want some different anime, hi, let's go. You can watch Erased, which is an amazing kind of suspenseful time travel murder mystery. You could watch Ungo, which I'm a lead in. That's a real cute one. You could watch Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere, also in that one. I play a German witch. You could watch, oh gosh, so many things. You could watch a whole bunch of the Ghibli films. There are so many things. You could watch the new Sailor Moon stuff, which I really love. That was my gateway drug to everything nerdy in the world. There's so much
Watch
stuff.
some
Watch One
Satoshi
Piece.
Kon. Paranoia Agent.
Paranoia Agent. Watch
Perfect
Samurai
Blue.
Champloo. Oh,
All right. And by the way, Tim, feel free to talk hockey anytime you want, man. All right, what's next?
from Taff.
Tateful?
Okay.
Taffel? Taffel?
The Netflix thing is they're right. I just wish they had something for service members deployed overseas like me that literally can't be with our families to use the Netflix properly.
Ooh,
I
that
mean-
sounds like a good idea.
True. But Netflix shouldn't be centered out.
They
Like-
should all do it.
It would be nice if streamers had some, and again, we don't expect streamers to do things for free, but if they could work out some sort of an arrangement with the US government and military, say, hey, listen, we'll provide, access to all of our stuff for all of our people serving overseas for like 1/10 of what it would normally cost or whatever. It would be good if they did that. But again, we shouldn't point out or single out Netflix for that. That's a truism probably maybe of most streaming services. And maybe there's something that all the streaming services can get together and say, let's come up with something.
I think it's a
Maybe
good
let's
idea.
even create a
Great.
bundle. Let's create like
Yeah.
one big bundle and we'll say US government, listen, we'll charge the US government like $3, but for all of our services. And so our service people can watch it. Maybe they should come up with something like that. All right, thanks for writing that in, man. All right, what's next?
From Jerome, what I meant by Yellowstone going like Godfather is that John, Vito, dies and Casey, Michael, takes over and kills Jamie, Fredo.
Again, Jamie's not Fredo, though. Like, remember, Fredo did betray the family. Jamie did not. Like, he didn't arrange the hit on his own family. He found out about it later, after the fact. But he's not the one who did. So I think it's still a little bit different there, Jerome. But oh my God, the family drama on Yellowstone is so good. I cannot wait for this show to come back. All right, what's next?
All right, from Joel. I love the show and have been watching for years.
Thank you, man.
I hope you all have a fantastic day and keep up the great work. P.S. Rob, I have the Civil War Captain America hot toy and it is glorious.
I
It
don't
is
know that one.
glorious.
Do you have that one?
Yes, and it is a glorious hot. The Civil War line is great, and I slept on Falcon, and that Falcon's like $1,200 now if you can find
Whoa,
one.
from Civil War? But I'm sure you have another Falcon, though.
I do, but I want that Falcon because it's got the red and white color scheme. I've got the first Falcon. Great figure, but I don't have the Civil War.
So if
Falcon.
somebody wanted to send it to you as a gift, they can find out where to send it by watching your show.
That's right. And if you have a Civil War Falcon hot toy, I'll take that one off your hands.
All right, what's next?
Thanks for that, by the way.
From Mufasa. How will Netflix enforce this on cell phones and say if I go to a different Wi-Fi?
It's the same way banks do. They'll recognize IPs. They can recognize devices that they use, all that kind of stuff. So again, like I said, my bank has been doing this for years. It's not that big of a jump for them to do it as well. All right, what's next?
From Cole. Man, my dad is going to be pissed about that Netflix upcharge.
But pissed for what?
Or having to pay for something that you're using.
Like,
Yeah.
I should get this for free. I mean,
Be
again,
pissed
I
about
get it.
gas prices.
When you're used, like I think you were pointing this out, Aaron, when you are used to getting something for free, even if you've never should have been getting it for free in the first place, and now suddenly they found a way to plug that hole and take that away from you, you know what it's like? It's like this is going back in the pay TV days. In Canada, we had 2 pay TV channels. One was called Super Channel, and I can't remember what the other one was called.
Are you talking about like pay-per-view?
No.
Super Channel.
Pay channels. Where
love
it was
that.
like it was the first thing where it was like a movie network. They would play movies that you would normally have to go to the Rogers Video and rent VHS
This
tape.
is like pre-HBO.
Pre-HBO.
Oh, got it.
And they
Okay.
had like in Canada there was Super Channel. And like you could turn to that channel, but it would be all distorted. Like it would be like in 3 different sections in black and white. But when they would play the adult movies late at night, and people like,
Oh, hell
Oh,
yeah.
come on,
still
man.
turn on.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I
And
was
then
like,
I can
see a
see
nipple.
that. I see that nipple.
I see a butt crack.
And if you go back and forth quickly, sometimes you'd get the signal would come in
Just
and
for a
resolve
split
itself.
second. But
Man.
eventually, they figured that out.
It was so hard to wank back in the day.
You have no idea how hard it was.
But we tried. We
Find-
tried, damn it.
That's why, seriously, I remember as kids, we would literally go on hikes through the woods just hoping to find
I'll
the
toast
magic,
to that.
the magic porn gnome magazine.
By the way, in our woods on Mercer Island, Washington, there was a tree. With
every forest did.
I mean, who?
You could always
and
find the porn mags
We knew
out there.
when it rained
was
a
a
lot, so
porn
you
tree?
barely.
But where is this magical porn tree?
There was a porn, and I always wondered who did that. It was always somebody like older leaving the kids, but it was real
Oh, actually, literally, people would leave porn magazines
in
by
a place. Yes.
Yeah. Or it would be like kids would steal their dad's porn magazines and take them out into the woods, right?
Yep.
And just leave them there under some leaves or something. You could always find porn magazines in the
But
thing.
there was an actual specific tree in the woods by Island Park. Between Island Park and my neighborhood, there was an actual tree.
Yeah, so or
That was
like I
all
said,
being left by a
but
predator.
once the pay TV channels figured out that people were still watching anyway, and I would watch Star Wars on there too. Even though it was all broken up, they found a way to just make it a black screen. It's like, oh, how dare they? But
Yeah.
they had the right to do that. All right, what's next?
All right. From Devin. Hey, John, I was wondering if you guys have checked out Clouds on Disney Plus. It's the hardest try not to cry challenge, but really sweet and inspiring.
Never heard of it.
I haven't watched
Don't know it
Clouds.
either.
I
I
don't know
have
what that
no
is.
idea what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I watch so little of the content they put on Disney Plus, other than the high end premium stuff that were like Moon Knight, Mandalorian. Other than that, I don't care about the rest of their.
And I watched Jeff Goldblum show.
And I have watched The World According to
It's
Jeff
so
Goldblum.
good.
That is so good. Their sneaker episode is fascinating.
Really
It's
good.
amazing.
So good.
My friend Micheline is in the ice cream episode.
I was going to say, obviously, my favorite one is the ice cream episode.
Yeah, she's the basically Barbie's badass black-haired sister
I saw her.
that Jeff Goldblum is very interested in talking
Yeah,
to.
she's dressed like a pinup girl in many ways.
She lives like a pinup
Yeah,
girl.
she's
Yeah,
always.
is a pinup girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Fifi again. A lot of people are comparing the Batman to No Way Home in terms of box office. I think it's more fair to compare it to Homecoming, which was the first in a trilogy, which only made $800 million at the box.
No, you can't even compare to that. They're two totally different types of movies that are literally appealing to two different audiences. One is a lighthearted, and I mean, with heavy stuff in it, sure, too, but it's a movie that is appealing to parents. You can bring your kids to this. Batman is not. Not to mention the fact that Spider-Man, as the first film in a franchise, was already coming off of big strength in Civil War, which is where we got our introduction to that Peter Parker. So it was coming off a super popular movie that everybody loved, and everybody loved that iteration of Spider-Man, and then it came into that. This Batman movie is a totally different story. Yeah. It's coming on the heels of a divided fan base. What some people don't even know if they like Batman's iterations right now. There's 3 different Batman running around, maybe a 4th coming into play, and it was being played by a guy that most people haven't watched any of his recent films in the last 10 years and only knew him as Twilight Boy, and that was it. So no, you can't compare it even to that. There's no comparison. Spider-Man simply came in with, Spider-Man was born into a rich family. The Batman was not born into all those advantages. It had a lot of uphill battles to fight to try to get whatever box office.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Bruce Wayne born into a rich family and Peter
The
Parker?
movie, not characters in it. The movie, not characters.
So are
in
you
it.
saying that a good parent would probably not bring their child to see the Batman?
A great parent
no,
would.
not at all. I'm saying
Wow.
that
Great
it
parent
wasn't
would.
marketed as a film.
I'm kidding. I'm saying
that's
that
you brought your
because
kid.
I brought my 3-month-old son to see it, and he was like, "This is awesome!"
And he was
Imagine that's the first movie that he can say that forever.
That's why I brought him.
Oh, that's why you brought him to say his first
Mom
movie
ain't
is for
raising no
Batman.
punk. Mom
He
ain't
was-
raising no punk.
He was quieter than Logan.
That's very
Yes,
true.
he was.
Logan was like, oh my God.
All right, what's next?
From Ryder, is keeping the great things that happen in the Netflix Daredevil not worth keeping over some timeline plot inconsistencies in the MCU? Just sad because I loved Carradine Foggy and other things. Loved Foggy.
Look, they're going to do what Star Wars did with Grand Admiral Thrawn. This isn't the same Thrawn that was in the Heir to the Empire franchise. But we're going to bring over a lot of the things that are Thrawn. And that's what they're going to do here. They're going to bring over a lot of things that they think work. So it's not the same Daredevil. But they're going to bring over a lot of things that were in that Daredevil. Ninjas, for one. Got to bring over ninjas. Whether or not they bring over that Karen and that Foggy, who knows? I don't know. But they will bring over a lot of the stuff that's going to make it feel very similar and feel very at home. But by saying it's not the actual same one, it gives them the creative freedom to do whatever they want to do. So they're going to try to do the best of both worlds there. All right, what's next?
From Elite again, paying more for subscription means more piracy?
No one's saying to pay more for subscriptions. They're simply saying you
Pay
don't get
for
it
them?
for free.
And I do think that there's people that do pirate a lot of
course,
stuff.
absolutely
They're
there, yes.
sailing the high seas, and that costs people money,
Yeah.
especially independent filmmakers.
Yeah, but I also find it funny that not everybody, but I find it's a lot of the same people who say $15 for Netflix is outrageous, which is an outrageous statement in and of itself. But a lot of these same people say, I'm still a physical media guy. Okay, let's visit that for a second. You'll go to Walmart or Target or whatever your outlet of choice is. You'll drop $23 for a physical disc for one movie. Netflix is charging you $15 a month for hundreds of thousands of hours of content and programming that is accessible to you anywhere you are. Anywhere there's a screen, you got a phone, you got a tablet, you got a computer, whether you're on an airplane, whether you're on a ship, whether you're sitting at home or you're at a buddy's place or you're taking a walk in the park. $15. Hell, if they raise up to $20, is still a value proposition when you consider what you're getting in return. Nobody likes to hear that, and we all like to say, hey, everything should be cheaper, and I get that, I do. But when you consider what you're getting for your subscription service to Netflix, it is still very much a value proposition.
Do you want to hear something crazy?
Crazy.
I might know somebody who actually has bought bootleg Netflix shows on physical media.
That is
You
kind
said
of nutty.
myself?
Which would have been cheaper just
I
for
think
them to
we
get the
all have an
subscription
idea of
service.
who that somebody might be, Rob.
But you have Netflix. I
But
mean,
he
let me say-
also
let me
has
say,
a problem.
I also have
This
Disney Plus,
theoretical-
and I have the Mandalorian on physical media too.
All right, what's
That's
next?
how crazy I am.
From Kermit Yoko. Hi, John. Do you think the Spider-Man things being fake in the Morbius trailer can cause a lawsuit?
No, because here's the thing. Look, they never this would be the difference. They never showed Spider-Man in the trailers. They never said Spider-Man's in this movie. They never showed Andrew Garfield going, "Hey, Dr. Morbius, how are you today? Wait a minute, my spidey sense is tingling." And then they edited that out of the film. The situation with, what was the name of the movie, Yesterday? Mm-hmm. The situation with the movie Yesterday, they literally, in their trailer, showed a big movie star, Ana de Armas, in the trailer. Some people, relying on that, because they're big fans of Ana de Armas, bought or rented the movie on Amazon because they thought they were going to get to see Ana de Armas. She wasn't in it. That was blatant false advertising. For that to be similar to this situation, you literally would have had to have seen Spider-Man swinging around town, or maybe throwing a punch with Morbius or something like that. And that is not the case. There was a picture of a mural on a wall. That doesn't really constitute the same thing, so I don't think it's still dirty. Don't get me wrong. I still think it's dirty, but it's really not the same thing. All right, what's next?
All right, from Jerome. Do you think Rip and Beth will live until the end of Yellowstone? And if they don't, will you continue to watch the show?
If it's done well and done, look, first of all, yes, I do think they will live on to the end of the show. If they don't, but their exit is done in a really great narrative-driven way, listen, my favorite character on Sons of Anarchy got knocked off. And it crushed me. But that emotional crushing kept me in the show, too. I mean, and I watched that thing right through to the end. So, yes, I will still hang. Do you guys have ever... I will say this, though. The show Vikings, once Ragnar died, and he was the show, he was the main character of the show, but once Ragnar died, I did kind of fall off the show. It's because he was the main character. But I don't...
But look at Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I mean,
Great example.
there's never been a bigger, oh shit, anything can happen now than the season finale of season 1. Like,
Yeah.
how do you kill the main character who the entire show is around, and then still have a show that continues to be massively successful to the point where you kind of forget that he was even ever a part of it?
Yeah, great. That was a great example.
Actually, that's what made me love the show and want to
Because
continue watching.
anybody
safe.
could die at any minute.
There's a show, the British show. It's called Spooks in the UK. It's called MI5 here. They did a great job
MI5 is
of
great.
killing their main characters. It was, you never knew who was going to go on that show.
But yeah, like Game of Thrones and Sons of Anarchy kind of set the stage of main characters can die.
Yeah. I mean, look at what's happening on Ozark. I'm not going to...
I don't watch Ozark, so I don't know.
No spoilers.
Wow.
But, oh my God.
Doesn't it come back next month?
It's supposed to come back soon.
I can't wait.
You're gonna have to kill me. Oh my God, I love it.
All right, what's next?
Superhero movies are the best. Guess the quote. But it ain't about how hard you hit.
That's Rocky.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. Yeah, that's Rocky talking to Milo Ventimiglia, who played his son in that movie.
Great casting.
And Milo is the guy. I bring it up all the time.
Rocky Balboa.
I am so... What's that? In the
It's
movie Rocky Balboa. I always mention because I'm so grateful that Milo is the reason I met Anne. He's the guy who brought Anne to the first event that I met Anne. And then because Milo was on my show the next day, Anne called in to be one of the callers in for the show, asked my producer if she could have my contact info. And by the way,
Anne hit on you on your show?
yes.
That's amazing. I didn't know
she-
that.
She was at least interested in getting my contact information.
I
That's how
thought
we
you guys
first
met
met.
on ChristianMingle.com. That's what you told me.
No, farmers only. Farmers only.
Not JDate.
No. So, but I can't even, now I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, by the way, you know who my producer was that took her information? They just sold their network, the React network. You guys remember the Fine Brothers? They're like the biggest thing on the internet for years. They did the Kids React, whatever. They did all that kind of stuff. Benny and Rafi were producing on that.
Wow.
My movie blog talk show at the time. and I think it was Benny Fine that took the call and got Anne's initial contact information. Anne and I touched base. We decided to go on a date. Our first date ended up being, I was going to take her to see Iron Man at an early press screening. I was going to pretend I was all cool because I'm going to an early screening of the movie, right? But I got the time wrong, so we missed it. So I just said, as smooth as I was, well, hey, listen, I just got this DVD for 30 days a night.
Oh my God.
Want to come back to my place and we'll watch it? Want to Netflix and chill, basically? No, want to come back to my place and watch the movie?
This
and
is
that
like
was our
a,
first
wait, are
date.
you
this
saying
is
that-
literally this is Pretty Woman for groupies.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that it was physical media? That you and your wife?
It was physical media that gave us our
Forget
first
Milo.
date.
Just saying, there's something to be said for taking out that little disc and sliding it in and hitting play. That's all I
Here
can
we
tell
go.
you.
But again, all that to say is it's because of Milo Ventimiglia that I ever met her in the first place. So whenever a chance comes up to highlight and give glory and praise to Milo Ventimiglia, whose series finale of This Is Us is coming up here, I will always take it. All right. What's next?
John Redcorn, if this is true, then screw this Sonyverse, bro.
I again, listen, the movie might still be awesome if it's true. But if it's true, I'm going to be very, very disappointed in Sony. But again, if it's true, we'll find out soon
I
in a
just
couple
can't
of
wait
days.
to watch
if it
all
is.
the other hot takes all over YouTube.
Yeah, about it.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Casey Mack again. Hey, John and crew, just wanted to know if you saw the trailer for Where the Crawdads Sing, and what are your thoughts?
I have not. I heard it came out, but I have not
I
watched
watched
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I did. What the hell is that? I mean,
It's a best-selling book.
I know that. I get it. I watch it and I'm like, I get it. I totally understand. Is this like the new Notebook? What is this?
I have no idea.
It is going to
anything
be
about
all over the Oscars next year.
What's the
So,
basic
Okay.
idea of it?
I don't know. I didn't read the book.
I didn't read it.
Did you see the trailer?
No.
Oh, so what's the basic gist?
Crawdads are singing.
No, they're not. I don't know. I'm not gonna.
But
that was
no,
a funny reaction.
To answer the question, Casey, I haven't seen the trailer
It
yet.
dropped yesterday.
Okay, I will watch it later today, and maybe we'll give it a mention tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right, from Alf 2024, and I have part 2 of his on here. So, hey, John and crew. Oh, with an almost $20 super chat.
Thank you, Alf.
I had a really long message to send, and we'll send you that through mailbag instead. But I wanted to let everyone know on the show, here, that you guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I deal with depression and anxiety, and your content keeps me going each day at a time. Thanks for all you guys do. Random question. If it's past due, we don't give Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige the benefit of the doubt.
Well, no, I mean, look, we have given Kevin Feige the benefit of the doubt for years. Years. Marvel and Kevin Feige have been given, rightfully so, the benefit of the doubt for a long time. I'm only now starting to question it. And I say question it because, like I said, I have never gone like 4 out of 5 Marvel projects that I straight up didn't love. Right? You put on Ant-Man, I love Ant-Man.
I do too.
You put out Guardians of the Galaxy, I love Guardians of the Galaxy. You put out Doctor Strange, I love Doctor Strange. You put out anything Captain America titled, I love it. Blah, blah. But then, and WandaVision love, but then came, Falcon Winter Soldier, which I like, I didn't love. Loki, which I liked, I didn't love. Hawkeye, which I just straight up didn't like. What If, which I honestly thought was a bit of a waste. So I am almost to the point now where a Marvel film to me or a Marvel project to me is like anything else. If it looks good, it looks good, but I don't automatically give it the absolute benefit of the doubt anymore. Still a big fan, like super excited about Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, yes, but I just don't automatically, in blind faith, give it the benefit of the doubt anymore. But that's just me.
I'm pretty excited about Moon Knight.
Well, so am I. But I'm excited about it because it does look great.
It does.
Right? Like the benefit of the doubt, like I give Pixar the absolute blind benefit of the doubt. Because now when a trailer comes out and it doesn't look all that good, Coco didn't look all that great to me. But if a trailer for a Pixar film comes out now, and even if I don't think the trailer looks very good, I will still have zero doubt that it's going to be awesome.
Man,
I don't feel that way about Marvel anymore.
I regret. That's one of the great. On my deathbed, when my life flashes before my eyes, not going to see Coco in the theater is going to be one of those moments where I'm like, damn it. I put on that disc, John, the first time
That movie's so good.
Oh,
That is a really good life if that is one of your regrets. On your deathbed. I'm thinking of a whole lot of other regrets I
look,
have.
man,
and not
I've had a
have-
great life. Let me just tell you,
Clearly.
I've had a great life.
All right, let's keep going here. What's next?
From Manish. Severance is fantastic. Thank you guys for the recommendation.
Okay, so I am now caught up with Severance.
Is it done?
No.
No. I don't know that I love it.
Really?
I like it. It's interesting. But it is a slog to get through. I feel very often like I'm trying to get from point A to point B, but I'm carrying a bag with like 80 pounds of weight in it a little bit. Like and the whole Kier thing, I just kind of feel like that was almost something they should have told us about earlier to introduce us to the world, but we're getting more glimpses of it. But I'm watching every episode. Like, I have not tapped out on this show. I'm still intrigued by it. I think Adam Scott is fantastic in this. I love the brother-in-law. I mean, I actually really, really do. I almost feel like he should have been played by Zach Galifianakis, but I am really liking the brother-in-law. But I don't love it. Right? How are you feeling about it right now?
I love it. I really enjoy it. I also am at a point, though, of like, I don't trust anyone.
Yeah.
Right? Of like, no one is who they say they are. And so I'm suspicious of everybody.
Are either of you guys watching Severance right now?
I don't even know what this is.
Apple
Okay,
TV.
so the concept is brilliant. So Adam Scott, who most people will remember from
I really like
Parks
him.
and Rec.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it imagines a world. It's a variant reality from our own. But he works basically at a Apple, right?
Okay.
But it's called Lumen is the name of the company. But Lumen has some top secret divisions. And if you want to work in those divisions, you have to go through a procedure called severance, which basically is this. It's a procedure they put you through that when you show up at work and go into work, you have no knowledge or memory of what your life is like outside of work. And then once you leave work, you have no knowledge or memory of what you've done in work. It literally creates almost two separate
I
individuals.
think I auditioned for that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh,
I
you would have
think-
been great in
Or-
that role.
You know what? She could have been Adam Scott's sister.
She would have
You
been
know what?
great.
I save all of my audition sheets in a file on my email. I'm going to look it up when we're at lunch today.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have remembered anything about the audition
That's
once
true.
you've
That's true.
left.
That's true.
Okay, we've only got a couple questions left, so let's take one more sponsor break before we get to those final ones. Hey guys, we want to take a moment and thank a sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. So guys, look, my wife Ann and I were both working professionals, so we know how tricky, difficult, and time-consuming it can be to try to eat properly and prepare your own meals at home. And that's why, like over a year ago, we started using HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. I mean, you skip the trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and probably most importantly, affordable. HelloFresh offers the flexibility you need to easily customize your orders online or right in the app. Easily change your delivery day, food preferences, and plan size, or skip a week whenever you need to. HelloFresh is 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal of the exact same quality, and you can save on average over $65 a month when you order HelloFresh instead of going grocery shopping. So guys, I'm telling you, whether you are single or have a family, you are going to love HelloFresh. So go to HelloFresh.com/Campea16 and use the promo code Campea16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's again, HelloFresh.com/Campea16 and use that promo code Campea16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And thank you to the folks at HelloFresh. They're delicious, by the way, for being a sponsor of this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, just a couple of questions here left. Let's take this thing home. What do we got next?
All right, from Jerome. Have you seen The Night Comes for Us on Netflix?
I, again, never heard of it.
I haven't seen it.
Shock, water wet. Netflix has things that they don't advertise to the world. I've never heard of it. Does anybody know anything about this?
No, but if y'all recommend it, I'll check it out.
I will keep our eyes open for it, Jerome. Thanks for putting it on the radar. All right.
Isn't that the Nicholas Winding Refn show? Is it the series that he
It
did?
sounds like a title he would give. By the way, somebody in the live chat who just said this, that guy, yes, in the live chat just said it's really awesome. So, all right, going to keep our eyes open for it. Thanks for putting it on our radar, Jerome. All right, what's next?
From Gerardo. Hey, John, been watching since I was a freshman in high school about 7 years ago.
Wow.
Your audio versions make my day at work a little more enjoyable.
Thank you, man. And again, we didn't plug it at the beginning of today's episode, but if you want an audio-only version of our show, we do have the John Campea Show podcast. So just go on your favorite podcasting app of choice and look for that there so you can listen to it on your drive.
And that viewer can drink now, which is very cool.
All right, what's next?
John Redcorn. Over under 60% Rogue Squadron and Star Trek 4 don't happen.
I heard something recently that has changed my mind a bit. I do believe Rogue Squadron is going to happen. Star Trek 4 is definitely happening. Now, even Chris Pine is starting to talk about it a little bit. So that's definitely going to happen. I'd put that in the 90% range that it's going to happen. And I would have been a coin toss on Rogue One, but I found out something recently that I'm not going to say 100%, but it's made me go, okay, yeah. So Rogue One is probably going to happen. I don't expect within the next 3 years. It'll be in production within the next 3 years, but I don't think we're going to see it in theaters in the next 3 years. But I do believe both of them are happening.
That's
the
good.
Star Trek 4 that was announced before the cast knew that they were involved in it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Chris Pine's clearly making a lot of money.
Now, for what I've heard is that it wasn't as cold call as the reports made it out to be. Because the way the reports made it sound is like, this one day, Zoe Saldana was sitting at home, turned on the TV, and there's a report. They're talking about doing Star Trek 4. She's like, I've never even heard of this. Apparently, there were some preliminary discussions, some things like that. They had not heard that it had been greenlit.
Yeah, but it had been announced many, many times by different people, different directors.
Yes.
I think they just Rachel Zieglered it. They just said, you know what, let's just put it out there.
And also something that I didn't think about when we had the initial discussion is a lot of times when you sign on for one of these franchise films, you have it in your contract. Like, if they do 6 of them, I'm in. I had a friend who passed on a huge X-Men role because his team said, you don't want to be locked in for 4 movies.
Yeah, hopefully that's not his team anymore.
Who doesn't want to be locked in for 4 movies?
Like,
I
lock
had that
me
agent.
in,
Yeah.
put me in handcuffs. I'm happy to be locked.
All right, what's next?
From Tim, I wish my parents could meet Rob just to watch them talk about Star Trek for hours.
Hey, you know what?
go.
If you want, I'll DM me. Slide into my DMs. I'll send your folks my phone number. If I can talk Star Trek, I will do it. You can listen
Again,
to it.
and after the show, I will talk to Rob and remind him about why it's not a good idea just to hand out your
give people
phone
your
number
phone
to
number.
people, random people.
You're going to get so
Online.
many dick pics,
But
man.
people who talk Star Trek, it's as long as it's, and if they're parents, that means it's old school Trek, which I can talk about.
Well, there you go. All right, what is next?
And we're just ending with a bunch of support. The man with the master plan, Jerry, Connie, thank you all so much for your donation.
By the way, Jerry and our friend Connie, Rob and I both know Connie. Send those in, send in. Just
Connie is the best. Connie Sang she's the woman of your dreams, man.
All right, guys. And so thank you to you guys for sending that in. And guys, that'll do it for today's episode of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thanks to all you guys who sent in the super chats. Number 1, because it gave us great fun things to talk about. But number 2, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved here at the John Campea Show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Want to go around the table here. Thank everybody who's here. We got Robert Meyer Burnett. We got Chris Carr. We got Aaron. And of course, where's Joey?
I think she old yellered under my chair. She's not moving.
Oh,
Oh, no. Oh, wow.
I have a fucking...
No, do that to your cats, not to your dog. Oh, there's Joey. There's Joey. Oh, I love Joey so much. And guys, we love you so much. Thanks a lot for being here. And until tomorrow, my friends, bye-bye.